supposed to stick it in the ground.
It is in the ground.
Outside.
That was your idea.
Bilbo, dragon and me, whilst for 1,000 years. That was good. Let's get another one.
Well, hello, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good evening. And that was for the 400 subscribers that I now have.
Oh, yeah.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Congrats!
Another
And here's 200
milestone.
more. Yep. Good to go. So,
Yeah.
this should be a fun one. This is a great movie and got a great panel to talk about it.
Hugh
And
Jackman.
for the is this the first time? I think it's the first time for the creative blue collar guy is in the house.
Woo!
Welcome.
Yeah,
Yay!
finally made it. Yes, it's
Nice.
awesome to finally make it on the panel. I know it's been a combination of being busy and myself just like I said in backstage, I'm a little bit of a normie, so every once in a while when people throw topics at me, I just kind of have to be like, I'm sorry, I would have
You should
nothing to add to the
so you're
conversation.
under
You know?
Watch
You
these
know,
things
it's
and
like-
become a normie. It's simple. Simple.
You know, it's like I sort of like I dabbled. It's like I grew up on like the original Star Wars trilogy. I like the Lord of the Rings movies. I like other stuff, everything. But it's like when you start getting like deep nerd stuff, I'm just sort of like, hey, you know, that's you know, not my thing. And but yeah, awesome to finally make it onto the channel because as I said, if there's anything, because with my channel, I'm more kind of a music guy. Sometimes I'll stray to other topics, but if there's any time that I'm going to talk about movies on my own channel, it's always going to be Christopher Nolan. And of the Nolan movies, this is probably one of my top favorites. So this was a perfect night to come on. So again, thank you so much for having me on with a great panel. Super stoked to be here.
Good to have you. Shieldwall, good evening.
How's it going? Glad to be here. Congratulations on 400. It's that's awesome.
Thank
Well
you.
deserved. And yeah, this was I'd never seen this movie before. It was interesting, well shot, well directed, good casting. Costumes were great. I was always a little foggy on the exact time period that it was taking place in. But like what year exactly it was, but it kind of didn't really matter. And an interesting storyline, that's for sure. But yeah, so excited to get into it. And yeah, it was definitely worth the watch.
Never watched a single episode in my life.
And
Wow.
welcoming
Okay.
back the best mouse, Squeaka.
Squeak, you're muted.
Hi. Sorry, yeah, I know I was muted.
Hello.
Sorry, I was
Okay.
doing a thing. I had to do a thing, and I finished the thing. No, hi, congratulations on 400. Thanks for letting me join y'all for this
Thank you.
first time watch too. And yeah, this was an intense movie. I want to watch it again a second time, with less crying. Okay, who am I kidding? I'm gonna cry again the second time. But I love. This was a really good movie.
Cool. And surprisingly, Beard has seen this movie.
Not only have I seen it, I've seen it multiple times. I love this
And
movie.
didn't give me any spoilers. Still.
No, I was not going to spoil anything for you. This is such a the trailers did this right because they didn't spoil anything like you would expect a lot of other movies to do these days. They just gave you enough to get you intrigued. And I was not going to spoil this movie for anybody, you or anybody else who hadn't seen it. Like you have to go in fresh. And I will go ahead and spoil. I will spoil my opinion on this. I think it's better the second or third time through because then you start picking up on a lot of little other things. So
Yeah. You start trying to solve the little mysteries.
So
Yep.
so it's not like The Sixth Sense or whatever, where once you know what the secret is, then you're like, this movie's lame.
Well, even with The Sixth Sense, like the second time through, it's kind of like interesting, but then it loses its kind of
Right.
It's lure after that. This one, I think every single time you watch it, it's still really entertaining. But we'll get further into our opinions on this later on.
Mhm.
But
And
happy to
yeah,
be
and the
here.
trailer not giving away stuff is really good.
Yeah.
I like The Matrix, for instance, when that was out in the theaters and they were doing the promos for it. They never showed any of the like jelly pod, futuristic destroyed world stuff ever. And so you didn't really know what the movie was about. You thought it was like a cyberpunk-esque kind of hacker kind of thing. And then, so when the moment happens in the movie, you're like, holy crap. Nowadays, it would have been ruined because of the internet. Somebody would have leaked it and they would have put it in the promo and all kinds of stuff. And the movie wouldn't have been as good. So,
Yep.
Thanks for not spoiling it for Squeaka.
Yeah.
I would never.
He just listened to me cry.
Welcome back, Mando.
Meanie.
Hello. I am here. I've arrived and Beard is in between Squeaka and I, so this is gonna be so much fun. We were told to keep it PG. Do you mean PG-13 or PG?
I'm a good mouse. This is Jacob. I gotta, but Roman already won't let me back on. I gotta stay put somewhere.
So I don't know how many times it's going to happen, but in the chat, just keep count how many times I have to do this. Just like no.
Does PG stand for potential Gouda? Because I'm in if that's what it stands for.
I'm sorry, Mando. Continue.
We need to keep the cheese talk to a minimum.
Oh, Shieldwall, you wound me.
I like that spicy
You
pepper
should
jack
re-knife.
though. I actually, in real life, do like pepper jack cheese. So great.
Meanwhile, the three of us
gonna
are
never
up here
let me
just
back
safely
on.
away from all of whatever the weirdness is going on down here.
Yeah.
I don't know what you got going on down there, but we're up here nice and safe.
Hopefully it's
There's
not a Lindbergher.
This is there is some lore behind Squeaka and I, and now Beard is included in this lore, so it's great.
Does it involve burning your neighbor's yard down with gasoline?
Does it involve top loaders?
Yeah.
No.
Anyway,
Just
our
broke
movie
Beard.
starts in the late 1800s.
Let's say hello to the chat, shall we?
Yes, please say hello to
Yeah,
the
let's
chat.
do that.
Steven,
What's up, Steven?
welcome. Ahoy, Roman.
Nobody cares about Roman.
Roman, here there be spoilers, and we're going to spoil it for you.
Here there be.
Roman, watch the movie.
Well, even with
Roman,
the
watch
spoilers,
stop this
like
and watch the movie right now.
well, like even with, in
Your
my
family
opinion,
will
even
thank
with
you.
even with the spoilers, I think that it doesn't necessarily ruin the movie. Like
Right.
in my opinion, like this particular one, because when you watch it the first time and then you go to the second time, you actually start looking for the clues and the breadcrumbs they leave you throughout the movie. So, in my opinion, I don't think it's spoiled, even if you know what the ending is.
Yeah.
That's a good non-spoiler
4B
way
movement.
to describe it, to talk about it without actually having any spoilers in it. Although I think as we discuss it, spoilers ahead because
There
it'll be hard to
will
discuss
why
this
do you
movie
hate
be
that?
spoilers.
without
Absolutely.
giving away some of the bigger points about the movie and talking about them in detail, because that's what is going to be the crux of this whole plot, basically. So
Exactly, Stephen. Exactly. That's exactly what PG means, and I'm going to use that
Roman
from
says
now
to
on.
spoil it, there'd be a chance I was going to watch it. Well,
Yeah.
Vex!
yeah,
Vex!
Vex is here. Hey, Vex.
I'm sorry, I have to do
There
it.
we go.
I have
We
to
got
do
somebody
this.
on our
She's
side.
a sister, sister. I have to. Sister, sister.
Oh,
But how many times did we, not spoil?
Roman, it has come to my channel now.
No.
When
Don't do
Vex
it, dear.
is,
Don't
Don't
do
you
it.
dare.
if a Joker or a Vex is in the chat or on a panel with me, I gotta. It's in the bylaws. When you become a member of the Scissors squad, you sign that.
I think I agree. I think Christopher Nolan's got a lot of good films, but I think some of his stuff is overrated. That doesn't mean it's bad, but I think people give it a lot more credit than it deserves. But I do agree that this, I would say, is probably his best.
I basically watched Interstellar through memes. So,
So
I haven't actually seen the movie, but I've seen enough of it to where I agree with Vex. I really don't.
I think that
how did
I'm
that
probably
get on
like
there?
the biggest Christopher Nolan nerd on the panel, and I would say like one of the biggest things that I appreciate about his movies is that he tries to avoid using CGI at all costs.
Yes.
His biggest thing is if he can build the set, if he can do practical effects, if he can whatever. So it's like even when, like you say, like if maybe the end result of the movie is not his best work, it's like I appreciate the effort that he puts into his movies, where he's like, if we can at all possibly build it, if we can do it, if we can make it real, let's do it. And then he uses like CG is like the absolute like last resort. Like, okay, fine, we'll CGI that. Like, and I appreciate his craft.
Yeah, I absolutely respect the craft.
Yeah,
no disagreement there.
But
This
Roman,
movie-
you still suck for not watching this movie.
Roman, you suck for a lot of reasons, but also for not watching this movie.
Roman, you don't suck at all. You don't listen to them.
Roman, if
So
you
I
get
actually
back good
I live in the
with the
same town
family
as Roman, so we actually hang
after
out in person quite a bit, and I can definitely say that yeah, Roman's kind of lame. But you know, that's just my opinion.
He is the personification of old man yells at cloud.
I really want to break out my
Oh,
Roman
there is
impression when he has a
thank you,
meltdown, but I
thank you.
can't because it's a family-friendly
Mando.
channel.
But he is
There
he
is
is
a meme
my
coming for that.
alternate
Yes!
universe bizarro dad, so I still have to love him in some ways, but he's still pretty lame. Not sorry, Roman. Watch the Prestige, Roman.
Jacob, did you want to go full screen on this?
Am
We
I
still
full
got the-
screen?
We still got the browser and
I'm
everything.
not full screen.
Nah, this is pretty close.
What?
I mean, you can see it. So this bunch of hats is important.
Oh my God, the hats. Now I'm gonna cry.
Oh, the hats.
Why are you going to cry about the hats?
Because I remember
And
what
the black
happened.
cats. And the cats.
Beard, if I
And the
go
cat.
full screen, I can't see anything else but the
Okay.
slides.
So I just
Yeah.
wanted to, like, we can still see all the browser and everything. I just want to make sure you knew what was going on.
Hang on a second. This should help. What? Let's go.
Hey, there's Gord King. I got one
Yeah,
thing
the
to say
Gord
to
King
him.
agrees with
Let's see
me.
here.
Roman, look at that.
Yep. And I got one thing to say to Gord King. Where's my god dang money?
Whoa. I didn't know you ran that kind of business, Shieldwall.
Wow.
He's been playing Red Dead Redemption 2. That's
You got a crowbar ready to go?
And there
I
are
love.
no
Okay, so
tangerines the size of tangerines in this movie.
Just
say.
There's a lot of really bad exposition or voiceover in movies. This is not one of them. It's a fantastic intro.
You can't go wrong with Michael Caine.
Exactly. He was outstanding in this movie.
Oh,
Matter of fact,
absolutely.
I can't think of a movie that he's really not been good in. Now he's been in some bad movies, maybe, right?
Austin
Potentially,
Powers.
Sure.
but
Come on.
no, Austin Powers. He was good in that because even he had that one guy. And he was like, "Look at you! You don't even have a name. You might as well just lay down now."
He was even good in Jaws: The Revenge.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I haven't seen any of the Austin Powers movies, so I'll take your word for it.
Oh, I
Uh,
think you'd
at
love
least 2 of them are pretty
Suika.
good.
I think you'd really like them. I really
But
do.
I think
you're not missing
Kane
much.
was great. in
Beard,
it.
shut up. Beard, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, sir.
So
Squeaka, I think
anyway,
you'd really like them.
on this movie, what we're getting here is we're getting the explanation. There are 3 basic phases of magic. It's the I forgot all but the last one, obviously, because the last was the name of the movie, so I had to look them up real quick. There's the pledge, where the magician shows you a thing.
Like
The
a bird.
turn, like the bird we're seeing
Right.
here. And then there's the turn where they usually where the vanishing happens. That's when like the actual like something else happens.
The unexpected happens. The turn of
Yes.
events, like the unexpected.
But as he explains, and as we see here, is everybody's already expecting that. They expect that you're going to make something disappear. That's not, the special part. It's making it come back. So the way he describes it is like, but that's not where the audience applauds. And then when we see, Hugh Jackman's character vanish there, nobody applauds. They're waiting for the last phase, which is the prestige, where you bring it back.
Right. Or you do the trick, like you read somebody's mind, or you show them the card as the one they picked.
Yeah.
Whatever it happens to be.
It's that little bit of a flourish at the end. It's because, you can make something disappear. I mean, you can literally destroy something to make it disappear. Like you can light something on fire, say it's gone, but what makes it special is when the thing that you lit on fire comes back, or the person you saw disappear, or the bird you saw disappear in front of your eyes comes back.
Right. Yeah. And that's like the whole thing that's like part of that monologue where he says it's like you said, like the turn where it's like you make something disappear, but he says but that's not where what you said, that's not where the audience applauds. He says it's not good enough to make something disappear. Says you have to bring it back, and that's where it cuts over to him where he like pulls the handkerchief off his hand and he has the bird, like you brought it back. It's like it's not good enough to make it disappear. You have to bring it back, and that's where the audience is like, oh okay, yeah, you did the thing. Like
I like Stephen Ransom's comment, just like a campaign promise.
not like any of us Americans know what campaign promises are.
Oh lordy.
Which part of the magic trick is a tangerine?
Tangerine.
But yeah, what we start out here, and this is of course something that Christopher Nolan likes playing with, is the time from the viewer's point of view, is showing you certain things out of order and giving you the respect as the viewer to put things together. So we start here from the beginning, where Hugh Jackman's character has drowned during a trick, and Christian Bale's character is on trial for his murder, and of course you've got Michael Caine is on the stand, but he can't give away the secrets because he's a guy who he doesn't perform the magic, but he creates the tricks and sells them.
I can't remember what they're called.
The secrets.
It's like it's some kind of French word for Imagineer or something.
Yeah, basically. I forget exactly.
So they're the ones that come up with the tricks and build the apparatus to make them work.
Right.
And what's supposed to, so what happens is the dude goes, when the electrical thing happens, he goes through the floor, and that tank is not supposed to be there, according to Michael Caine's character. So they're saying this guy, Christian Bale's character, had put the water tank there to trap him in it, and that happened. And then he drowned because he couldn't get out, because there's supposed to be like a way to open it, and it didn't work or whatever. Yeah, Jake's saying ingenue or something like that.
Well, I think in the movie, I think he says engineer, but because of his British accent, he says it like ingenieur.
It's like I had the subtitles on. It's like some kind of French word.
But yeah, he says exactly that. He's like, I'm the engineer. The design is like, I can't give away his secret.
Right, he can't give away the
even though the guy's dead, he could still sell his secrets to another magician and like make money selling them. Like,
so the judge was like, "Well, can you tell me about it like in private now? Like swear on an affidavit not to give it away." And he's like, "Yeah, sure." Also, great avatar there, Jake.
Yeah, I was about to say I love that anime.
Yeah, great.
Yep.
Yeah, like what this card says, the warden saw his play, or he just disappeared. He's like, we're making sure he didn't disappear, and they've got like multiple chains on him, and great.
And double checking the locks and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, check him twice.
I mean, that was one of the things in his performance, was him disappearing and reappearing in other places. So it makes sense that they're like quadruple check everything, all of these chains.
Other things
Well,
happen.
because that they say, you know, when he's all locked up and they're like checking the chains and they're like, check it twice, whatever, and he does the trick with like the rubber ball where he's like bouncing the
Right.
ball, and he throws it up and he like acts like, oh, I don't know where it went, and it went, and he like goes beneath the table and somehow unlocked himself and locked it to the prison guard, and then grabs the rubber ball and walks away like, hey, like
Yeah,
you know.
doing stuff like that. I mean, if he was smart, he wouldn't have done any of that stuff, and then he would have just been like, "Oh, he's okay," and then he could have busted out. But then he
Again,
wouldn't
it
get
was
to-
the
This guy's
long
twisted
con.
by
He knew what he
all
was
his-
doing.
Yep.
This guy is a lawyer from some rich guy wanting to buy all his secrets, specifically the disappearing man trick.
Which I
He's
will
like,
say, not to
I'm not
give
gonna
the
solve
spoilers
this
away
trick.
yet, because we're not quite there, and you know, whatever. But the many times over that I've watched this movie and his secret behind the disappearing man, I still find like there are very few hints at his side of the story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they're very subtle, they're very small, very few and far between. But it's like the many times I've watched this movie, and I'm like, how in the hell, like, because you know, like a movie's supposed to kind of give you little clues where you can kind of figure it out and stuff. And even still, I'm like, oh, like that's, you got to really be like paying attention and digging deep to figure that one out.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie absolutely does the whole magician thing where it's saying, look over here at this thing, while this other thing I don't want you to pay attention to, because even knowing his side of the story, going back, you're thinking like, oh, there's this here. Why didn't I pick up on it? Oh, there's this here. Why didn't I pick up on that? Because when you know it, it's very obvious. But it's doing this thing over here, saying, pay attention to this hand, not what this hand is doing. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think there's
So
a
it
bit of
gives him,
cynicism that goes into it too. You know, to be looking out for other stuff. They just do such a wonderful job of showmanship that you're drawn to it, whether and not from just distraction, but you're telling yourself the whole time during this movie, okay, I'm going to watch everything, and then you get caught up in the showmanship of it.
It
And
is.
you miss things.
It is very well written, and it does have a very intricate plot. It's not like some movies these days where, if you're like, I've been watching movies with friends and stuff before, and in like 10 minutes they're like, oh, that person did it, or this is what's going to wind up happening, where you can see it yourself, and it is pretty simple. You still watch it anyway to see how like it all comes together, but you get the idea of what the end point is going to be. Nowadays it's even more simple to tell. You know, oh, look, it has a straight white guy in it. He's the bad guy, or he's going to be weak and inferior to whatever the other character is. I can already tell you that now up front, and we can just go on with it.
What Squeak was saying, I think actually piggybacks on what I was saying, because it's very much the entire movie is like a magic show, because magic shows are not just the misdirection or look over here as opposed to over here. It's drawing you into a story. The best magic tricks have a story. They bring you in, they make you invested, they make you want to believe something that you know is gonna be a lie later on, but they pull you in. I think that this movie is a perfect representation of kind of the environment that it's portraying through its story.
Yeah. Well, and even this, like what we have on the screen right here, where it's like the things of them having each other's diaries and watching, it's like, this is where we get to the point to where, like, okay, the movie starts where it's like, okay, Borden's on trial. They're trying to find out what happened, but that's when it stops being linear and they're bouncing around and they're jumping back and forth, but you don't necessarily know that they're bouncing around yet. And you have to kind of figure out, okay, is this when they were working together? Is this when they were rivalries? Is this when he went to America? Is this like the way that Christopher Nolan likes to play with timelines, but not necessarily tell you where you are in the timeline, is kind of another interesting piece of his storytelling, in that you don't really know where you are in the story until the end, where you start to like put it all together and be like, oh, okay, like that's what that meant. That's what that meant. Like same thing with Memento. It took me a long time watching Memento over and over again to realize that the scenes that were in color were moving backwards, but the scenes in black and white were moving forward. And it just the way that he plays with timelines as a storyteller, really fascinating.
And he doesn't just hand everything to you on a silver platter. You actually have to use the thing that's in between your ears to kind of figure out what the heck is going on.
Not
It's
just
that
for
thing
holding up
between
my
your ears.
glasses.
I don't know what you're talking about. So he travels to Colorado
Howdy,
Springs.
Zax.
Hey, Zax.
We can only hope so. They say she's going to run for governor of California, but we're not going to get into that.
Hello, Zaxamillion.
Zax!
Yeah, this doesn't look like the Colorado Springs that I visited last time.
No.
It looks
No.
like there's a little train that goes through a gorge. That's what it reminds me of, because I did that when I went to Colorado Springs. And there's a little town, Cripple Creek, that's down off some mountains that this place reminds me of.
There's a couple of different railroads that you can ride while you're in Colorado. So and there's one that goes from northern New Mexico into Colorado. That's really a really nice one.
Steven.
So
This hotel,
Wow.
it's like right on the edge of the mountain. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is some
with Steven's comment there, unpopular opinion, I hate Quentin Tarantino. I'm just going to put that out there real quick.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
feel validated.
no, I do too, because I sat next to him in a movie and he was total butt.
I
Yes,
don't see
hate
what the
it too.
big deal is about him. It's like, I've seen Pulp Fiction a couple times. I've watched his other movies, and it's like, okay, yeah, like maybe they're kind of entertaining, but I'm just like, you want to talk about somebody that I think is completely overrated? I don't get what the big deal is with Quentin Tarantino. There, I said it.
Yeah, I don't either. So he's in Colorado Springs looking for Tesla, because Tesla actually in real life had a place like this in Colorado.
Yes, and
because I mean, in addition to what he was doing, I'm sure it's not just local to the area, but I do remember there being like certain electrical phenomena that happened with like some of the rocks up there and the Colorado like the Rockies and such, that I'm sure drew him to that location to conduct his experiments. So yeah, there is some basis in reality here.
Yeah,
Maybe
he also
just
had
a little bit.
He had a
but-
big facility in New Jersey too.
The something too the
And
rivalry.
I think
between
this
these
was one of
two-
the bigger surprises in the movie too, when they show who plays Tesla. It kind of takes you a minute to like realize who it is too.
Oh yeah. The first time I watched this, I didn't realize it at all the entire time.
Oh,
Because I'm so used to him being so over the top, and he's so subdued in this.
yeah.
And then once you know it, you can actually see. They don't make a big deal about it, but you can see the differences in his eyes, because he has his right eye was damaged, so the pupil doesn't dilate properly. I think it was his right eye. It might be the other one, but one of them was damaged. Like at a concert, somebody threw something and it damaged it.
I thought it happened when he was a kid.
I've heard that's the story I heard. I don't know if it's true, but he doesn't
it's
actually
Gollum.
have heterochromia that like a lot of people do. Yes,
I was like, I was so hoping he'd do his Gollum voice just because, but I knew he wouldn't.
That would have been
knew he
great.
wouldn't.
Yet he wouldn't like say it. He's like,
I
"Nah, I don't
completely
want to,
forgot
like,
he was
say
in
it."
this.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't unsee his face, because you know it's like they kind of animated Gollum's face around to look like his too, and it's just like when he does that, when he smiles, it's like you just kind of can't unsee it. Like
So somebody needs to go into every movie he's been in, other than Lord of the Rings and do the Gollum edit with AI, where you just make this character Gollum.
Yes.
And you don't have to use the voice; just keep his voice normal to whatever he was acting.
It's
but
that
just put the face
it's
on him.
every time he smiles, he's got sort of that like pointy face, and it's like, oh God, oh, it's jarring. It's hard to look at. Like,
See, I didn't know who this guy was. It had to be pointed out to me. Beard was all like, "It's so and so," and I'm like, "Who the heck is that?" I didn't get it.
Andy Serkis. Like,
Wait,
Oh,
have you not seen Lord of the Rings, Squeaka?
like
no.
once a while back, a long back.
But
I
at
think I-
least you've seen it. Okay. Whew.
Yes.
Howdy
Don't freak
cannoli.
out.
About to say I was about to tie you down, and we're gonna do a Lord of the Rings.
I've not seen it. I've
Marathon.
never seen it. I've
You're
never
about to
seen
break
it.
Mando's heart.
So he tries to get help from, or goes to get Tesla, but Tesla didn't want to see you. So he says to the guy, I'll be at the hotel indefinitely. Like, I'll be here until
Whenever you say his
lets
name,
me
now
know."
just think of the car.
That I know,
Why are
right?
we talking about cars?
Because I don't know enough about Nikola Tesla's timeline or when this movie actually occurs, like what year it does. But I know that towards his the end of his life,
like Thomas Edison stole a bunch of his ideas. It's no big deal. Like, it's no...
well, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I know
like-
I get the feeling that this is definitely towards
Yeah.
the end of his timeline, because I know that towards the end he became famously kind of reclusive and kept to himself.
Yeah.
He didn't want to share any knowledge. He didn't want to give away anything.
Well, I mean,
and of
when
course, once
someone
he
keeps
died, the
stealing
government
your
swooped
stuff,
in and took everything. So
He was
Well, it was a
he
big,
was born in
big deal.
1856,
It was a,
and he
Hmm.
died in 1943. So
Oh, wow.
he got smear campaigns saying his electricity was dangerous and would blow up.
Yep.
yeah,
That's
they
top
electrocuted an elephant.
So it pretty
to
much
Yeah,
prove
that's-
destroyed
that it was,
his.
that it was
It
lethal.
destroyed his reputation, and then of course, what's his name comes in and takes all his stuff.
oh Lord, we've got Mando, Squeaka, and Jana. We're doomed.
Hey,
Jana!
Jana, we are told that we have to keep this stream PG, but I can make us a private DM.
I've been really good. I don't know what you're talking about.
You have been a very good girl. It's me that's been the bad girl. And now we're moving on.
Anyways,
Get to the. We'll just skip ahead to the cheeky kiss on the thigh where these two guys who supposedly don't know her are tying her up for this trick.
Right.
oh, the blokes in row 3 and 4 can see you kissing your wife's leg. Gotta love Michael Caine.
This trick, I don't know how people did this.
The Houdini days, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he.
That
I mean,
had to
when
be
he did it,
very
he
creative.
when he did it, he very often did it the hard way too, because he was always trying to push that envelope.
So Tesla had his laboratory in Colorado in 1899,
Okay.
Oh, wow.
which is also why, and you play Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur can find a Tesla-like guy up in the mountains with a laboratory.
Mm-hmm.
This is also a nice little transition, because I mean, we know that these guys have some sort of relation, because at the beginning of the movie, we don't know that they know that they're part of this act, really. I mean, you can kind of
Right.
guess it, I suppose, knowing what the movie is about, but it doesn't switch over to the next scene being like really obvious, like spelling out, because you know a lot of studios might think you're a stupid person watching a movie saying, oh yeah, this is a person who did this, whatever. It feels very natural, or it cuts to the next scene. They're in there having a natural conversation that feels very normal for after that
Mhm.
show, and doesn't actually lay out the fact saying you're part of this act or whatever.
Yeah.
The other thing about this movie is it does do time jumps back and forth, and it is very easy to get lost on who's doing what and what character is who.
Yeah.
If you're not really paying attention, this is not a casual, I'm going to be on my phone and watching a
this is not-
basketball game while I'm
Yeah.
watching this movie.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Mhm.
You got to
It's
really
not a
pay
bad
attention.
Star
a
Wars
great-
series.
It's also a great Hugh Jackman scene, just saying.
But again, with that, like talking about like the time jumps and whatever stuff, but this, it's like whether these guys know that they're part of this act or not. That's one where Borden, Christian Bale's character, he's talking about how it's like he's already planting the seeds of like, oh, I have a better trick, and it's like, oh yeah, I suppose you have a better trick. He's like, yeah, I do, and they're like, oh, I don't, what is it? And he's like, oh, the world's not ready for my trick yet. So it's like, he already has these plans of like, I can be a magician, I can do a trick better than that, but it's like, why don't you do it? And he's like, oh, well, I'm working on it. They're not ready for it. Like he already has the plans of, I'm going to go out on my own. I'm going to do it on my own. But because, okay, I think Roman's gone, whatever. Spoiler, because he's got that twin brother, whatever. Like he can do that disappearing man act. And nobody else can figure out how he does it except for the fact that he literally has a double that is a twin brother, but in this scene here, he talks about it. He's already ready.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I have a better trick. Like,
well, and that's kind of the nature of magicians is you learn from somebody, but you also want to be creating the next big thing. But
you want to push the envelope.
Yeah, and you might not necessarily want to share that secret with your mentor. I mean, that's the skills and secrets of magicians from, history have been passed down because it's this weird kind of give and take between like, mentor and mentee with magicians. Like,
yeah, I think there's still probably a lot of gatekeeping there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's probably still a lot of gatekeeping of like, they didn't have the internet. They didn't have this. They didn't have that. So it's like, okay, maybe you're working for someone now, but it's like, if you have a really, really great trick that you think is going to blow people's minds, you don't want to let someone else in on that. You don't want to sell that to someone else. You want to do it. You want to blow people's minds. So it's like, everyone's always trying to constantly one up each other.
Yeah, you want to hang on to that till you're old, kind of like older. I guess I won't call Michael Caine old in this film, but older whenever you get to the point where like, okay, I'm going to start passing along my knowledge and letting other people take that and develop it and evolve it.
Michael Caine was born old, okay?
So speaking of the magic trick and stuff like that, I love the fact that the pacing of this movie is one big magic trick from the smallest of pieces, like right here where they come up from the crowd and they do the rope tying, and then you find out after the fact who they really are. It's not just like, there's a lot of pieces in the movie where they do that, where it's presented as something just ordinary, and then you find out it's not. Even the parts where the magicians themselves will try to insert themselves into the opposing person's act, and they come in and they sneak, because even that you're thinking, oh, I've seen this before, they're handpicked, and you're like, oh wait, it's that guy, what's going to happen next? So I love that they keep that theme of the principles of magic in the plot itself.
Yeah.
So in this scene, the Christian Bale character is saying they should tie a different knot to make it look better. And they're like, no, that knot won't work because when it gets wet, you won't be able to slip your hands out.
Yeah, they say the other knot is easier to slip.
Specifically, they says it's not a wet knot because if the rope swells, it won't come undone.
Right.
Oh, Roman is still here. We're spoiling the movie for you. You should just go ahead and watch it.
He won't. He's an old grumpy curmudgeon. He's not going to do anything.
He's a stubborn old man.
This is not Wolverine, Hugh Jackman.
It was Wolverine.
This is not. I mean, but I wouldn't have any problems if it was.
Wolverine's a couple hundred years old, so he might have been around at this time. Like,
I mean,
he was there in like the Civil War. Like
Wolverine. Roman, Wolverine is not real, okay? That's a movie. That's an actor, Hugh Jackman, okay?
Roman, do you smell toast? Are you not making toast?
Remember, it's Huge Jackman.
Yes, it's Huge Jackman. So this is the guy that, in order, like Michael Caine sends the guys to go find out how
put the fishbowl between his legs.
Yes, and this is where we get what you were saying earlier about the absolute commitment to the character, to the bit, to everything. And you kind of saw that actually when I was watching this, rewatching this yesterday. I was thinking actually of Harpo Marx, because anytime Harpo Marx was on set or around other people that knew who he was, he would behave as Harpo Marx, which means he wouldn't talk to people sometimes. He never broke that character. That was that kind of dedication. And that's what I was thinking of what we saw right here with this guy. Is he really an old, frail man, or is this his character as Christian Bale's character?
Yeah, and they said it's all part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
this
what
could
he
be
says,
a white guy dressed up like a Chinese dude.
You could.
Well, because even the scene after, when it shows Hugh Jackman, who obviously is in like absolute peak physical condition, he's trying to carry the fishbowl empty between his legs to try to see how he does it. And he even says, he's like, oh, the guy's got to be in like amazing physical condition, because he's like, I can barely move this thing empty. And he's doing it like full of water with a goldfish in it. Like, right?
Yep.
Yeah. He's like, I can't even do this empty. So he's like, yeah, it's all part of the show. It's all part of the mystique.
And that was the revelation, which is just putting it out there at the very beginning of the movie for all of us who now know the ending.
Yeah.
When Christian Bale's character says, that's the act. The show is not the act. This is the act.
When you're walking up to, after the show is over, the day to day, what people see. Yeah. It's like you have to commit like all the way to the very end until you're back in the safety of your home, where you're like, okay, I can be myself again. It's like when you're in public, you have to be in character.
And then as we see later on, even with Christian Bale's character, I had to look it up because I can't keep calling him Christian Bale. Alfred, we find
Freddie.
out Alfred and Freddie, which is a subtle tell between the two, but their commitment even went beyond just being in public. It went through to being in private as well.
Well, it was their rivalry. It was like that was what made the story interesting, was the two of them just like constantly digging at each other. And it's like, who is going to go farther than the other one? Like, who is more determined?
This scene. This is also another scene that just basically lays out the plot of the movie for you, but you don't know it at the time.
Right. Yeah.
I still cried.
No, no. But
And
where's his brother?
Yes.
See, the kid in his innocence understands
like, he
better
gets
than
it.
anybody else.
The other bird is a different color. It's more yellow.
But that kid gets it right away when he's like, where's his brother? And he's like, oh, you got a sharp one there. Like,
Oh,
It's like, but where's his brother?
poor kid.
Oh, I'm gonna cry again.
That's why I always love the line there when like he does that and he gets out the coin and he's like, are you watching closely? Like, that's always like my favorite quote from the movie. It's like, are you watching closely? Because it's all about, we said in the opening monologue, the thing of like the pledge, the turn, the prestige. And he says, are you watching closely? Because says usually it's like the audience doesn't want to be fooled. Like, you're looking, but you're not really looking because you want to be fooled. You want to believe in magic. You want to believe that magic is real. So I always love that quote, that are you watching closely? Because no, normally they're not. It's like, on one hand, it's like, yes, you want to know how the trick works. But on the other hand, it's like, no, it's like, you want to be fooled. You want to just see the trick and be like, oh, that was really fascinating.
And even when you think you're watching closely, a good magician doesn't care if you are. They're going to be able to
sleight of hand,
anyway.
all that, everything. Yeah.
And this entire movie is those three phases of magic. Once you actually go back and look at it. But yeah.
Sorry.
Unfortunately, a lot of early magic was brutal like that, where they would just substitute an animal.
Just kill the bird.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, that's the origin.
No, don't kill the bird.
Sorry, Squeaka.
He opened that cage and dumped that thing in the trash. I don't.
Hey, this is Two-Face's. This is Two-Face's origin story. He gives him a
with Batman.
Yeah.
It was passed down from generation to generation. to Two-Face.
It's a brand new coin. Was my father's coin, and my father's coin before that. And that's a reference to the show I was on yesterday. You'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, this wouldn't creep you out at all, would it?
Yeah, this is
So,
a good one too. Where again, it's like when you go back and rewatch it, it's kind of like, okay, I see what they did now. But initially watching it, where he's like, "Oh, you think that's enough to keep me out?" And she goes in and closes the door, and he's already inside, and it's like, WTF? And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, he had the twin brother.
Yes, I was totally WTF right there. I was like, excuse me.
You get a restraining order for that stuff now.
Put the kettle down and walk back out, please.
Yeah, that's how you get a restraining order these days.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what you said when we were watching this, but yeah, it was pretty close to WTF. And I'm glad I was just sitting here just going, don't say anything.
And
also shout out to
just like,
shout out to this actor opposite of Michael Caine that I'm pretty certain is Moriarty from a couple episodes of Star Trek.
Correct. If I had the clip, I'd play it. You are correct.
But he was the judge, right?
Yes, because the judge
so
said
that's the judge where he's showing you like, okay, I'll show you the tricks, but like in private, just between the two of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is him explaining things. Yeah, but yeah, he's the judge minus his fancy official wig. Should get one of those.
Man, does he play a good Moriarty too?
Oh, he
in
plays
Star Trek of all things.
Fantastic Moriarty. Both in the original series and when they bring him back later on for the last season of Picard.
Well, now that you said it, you got to do it. You got to get that judge wig.
Then you got to get the powder and everything. It's a big mess. It's a whole thing. It's
just flour.
I don't have a gavel, but I've got a claw hammer. Will that work?
Just use a staple gun, like a Deadpool.
It is.
Staple it.
Yeah, Jake. I actually thought he was a Doctor Who character at one point, briefly. Then I realized he was Moriarty. He's got a very distinctive voice. That's what told me.
Yeah.
I love how
I like this too.
On that box.
They
oh yeah,
it's not a trick lock on it. They switch it out when they're not using it. Yeah, they switch it out when they're not using it. So it looks so people don't find out, oh, it's a fake lock.
Well, the other thing from the distance from the front row to that is it's almost impossible to tell.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Who could tell if it's a real lock or not?
Get up and mess with it.
Yep.
Yeah, and look how thick the glass is on that.
Yeah, I know. And they were trying to bust that open.
Probably the
like.
Yeah.
And this is pre-plexiglass did not exist then, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they probably couldn't get very thin glass that would hold that much water.
Either, it's not like they could use transparent aluminum to go with another Star Trek reference. But no, it is a nice little subtle thing that when we first see the trick happen, that you see Michael Caine's character Cutter, I think is his character's name. He not only starts the stopwatch, but he picks up the axe, but he turns it around to the back end.
He's always ready.
And then we see it again. It's obviously a different axe, but it has a pointed end on the other end. But yeah, you would obviously. Oh, this is when.
Oh no!
I'll use the other.
Kiss on the leg.
Yeah, that's not plexiglass. It wasn't invented until 1933.
No.
Yeah, she gives it like she gives.
She wanted to do it. She wanted to try this knot too.
Yeah, she gives Alfred the look because he starts to tie the other one and he hesitates, and she nods at him like, "Go ahead and do it." And
because she says she's like, "Oh, I can slip it."
Yeah, so she thinks that she can get out of it.
You keep saying Alfred, and I think Michael Caine.
Yeah,
see, it's confusing.
Call him Freddy.
I did mention that when we were watching it that he's Alfred, instead of Batman when Alfred is in here. But yes. So I'll call him Freddy.
Down. They're like,
And this guy too. He's one of those actors that you just see everywhere.
Is a actual magician in real life.
Okay, that's where I know him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that, let's see, Mark Ryan? Maybe no. I meant to look him up because I recognize his face, but I couldn't tell you from where.
I worked with a guy
He's
that
in
was
a
a
movie-
legit magician. Like, he was in the military and he worked on aircraft. He was like a crew chief, but he was also a legit magician. Like, he had all these gadgets and stuff. And we had a squadron Christmas party and he started doing all these tricks. And they were really good ones too. Like, he had a deck of cards and he said to my commander, pick your card, the whole pick your card, and he put it back in the deck. And then he took the cards and he just went like flipped them, on the end. So they all shot up into the air. And then he's like, look up at the ceiling, and way up on the ceiling was his card. He's like, is that your card? It was stuck up there. I was like, I don't know how he did it.
There
but-
are several ways to do what's
Yeah.
called there are several ways to do what's called a force, which makes the person choose a specific card.
Right, but the point
Um,
was it was stuck to the freaking
Yeah.
ceiling.
Don't
like,
ruin it,
20 feet
Beard.
up.
Don't be a ruiner.
It was
Look,
20
look.
Just
feet in
ooh
the
and
air.
ah. Just ooh and ah. Let's repeat after
I'm-
me. Ooh.
But
I'm
it
not
was-
saying I'm not saying that
Ooh.
there's not an impressive amount of skill involved, because it requires a bunch of setup, and it also requires a bunch of confidence that you can do the trick perfectly.
Well, the other thing
every
was
single
is that
time.
he would go to Vegas and he would buy these like things from shops, and then he would show us. He'd be like, "See, this card here does this," and he, So, but he had some other ones he wouldn't give away the secrets on, but he was really good. He did all kinds of sleight of hand stuff, and you
That's
couldn't
cool.
catch the guy. I was like,
Yeah,
"What's
this
he
is,
doing in the
this-
military?"
This actor
Yeah.
is in another movie called The Spanish Prisoner. We'll have to do it sometime on Popcorn Talk. It is a
Well,
fabulous
yeah.
movie.
This is a Ricky J, and apparently he passed away in 2018, so he's not around anymore. But yeah, I've seen him in a lot of things. Yeah, the time that
that's
you
a-
see on the
that's a rough-
stopwatch, it kind of brushes past it, but it's at least a full minute she's in there before he goes out there and starts smashing the glass.
Yeah, that crowd got a tidal wave.
Mhm.
That's what we
Yeah,
call
that's
the splash
pretty cool.
zone.
I need to step away for just a moment, folks. I'll be right back. I apologize.
All right.
So somebody else, I don't know who it's going to be. Probably Creative Blue Collar. You're gonna have to take over for the beardness while I'm gone. I'll be back in a minute.
I can do it.
got
I
some
take
major
over.
beard
I got some
envy
beard.
there, though. Like,
If only you
no,
could see
my
beard.
beard cannot match up to Beard of Liberty by any means. Got the little bit here, though.
Mine is close, but it's beard. It wins.
I don't know. Squeaka says she can fill in.
See, that's why I don't have a camera, because my beard would just shock all y'all. So it's okay. Oh, this scene made me cry too. The thing
But
is
yeah,
with the rope, it looks like she's almost out too. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah,
I couldn't never figure out why they wanted to do the other rope. It's not like the audience could tell or give a crap,
No.
To me, it just seemed kind of weird that they were doing it, because look how bad the lighting is and how far away it is. You're far enough away the audience really can't see anything.
No, yeah, and even at one point during the show, they dropped the big like curtain down around the tank, so it's like you can't even see.
Right.
If, okay, they slip the knot, they get out, or whatever. It's like, what was the big deal? But
right, exactly. I
don't know.
understand
I guess it was
need
just
for it.
kind of more of a plot point that had to create the rivalry between the two characters, where he kept asking, he's like, which knot did you tie? And he kept saying, I don't remember. And it was necessary to the plot.
Yeah, this part.
see, I was going to ask
This
y'all
part,
experts
it's-
why, but y'all don't know either. Because that's what I was wondering. Is why did they change the knots? I thought there was something I missed in the movie, but
to me there was no point in doing it. Honestly, it's like people that worry
Yeah,
about
but-
stuff. Sometimes you run into people that and they're worried about stuff, and you're like, "Why are you worried about that?" nobody can see it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Yeah, unless it's
At
just
the
the
end of the day,
challenge
the
of the
trick
trick. Like,
is
look,
you get out
I
of the
did a hard or
tank.
not.
right.
Like,
Right. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
the
they
trick
did
is
that
you
knot.
get out of the
That's
tank,
crazy.
everybody's happy, everybody cheers. It's like, what difference does it make
Yeah,
what knot
right.
you tie? But it was.
I mean, you could tell them whatever.
I guess we
knot-
could say
you
it
could
was
tell
sort
them
of like a little
whatever-
bit of a plot hole that was necessary to the plot of this story and the rivalry.
You could tell people whatever knot you want to tell them, you know.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
they're not going to be close enough to see it.
Yeah, it's not that. It's just it was irrelevant what kind of knot to
Yeah.
use. Because what now? If they made a big deal out of it, and we're tying her hands with a special unescapable knot, then that would have been part of the show.
Yeah, right.
But they didn't do that. So unless
Yeah.
maybe they wanted to prove that it could be done, so they could add it to the show. But now I'm thinking too
think
much into it. So
Well,
Yeah.
that makes sense though. Like that, I think it was just a different knot that they wanted to try out.
Yeah, this is.
But I
this
guess the
was,
question still is like, but why? If she could slip the other knot, like why try a different one? Like, what if it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of thing. You know?
right.
maybe it was
but
just for the challenge of it. Like, hey,
But-
look, we can do this. I don't
to
know.
answer Jake's
Yeah.
question, in the movie, she specifically asked him to tie the more. She was down with him tying the more complicated knot.
Yeah.
She
Right.
was all for it, and it was her husband that
At this
didn't
part,
want to do it.
he's trying to see how long he can hold his breath.
Yeah.
Why torture yourself like that?
I mean, I look at that like, okay, you know, like grief affects everyone differently, and so maybe he feels sort of responsible or sort of, you know, whatever. So it's like maybe part of it is just like, okay, I want to see, okay, how long did it take before we could break the glass out of the tank? How long could I hold my breath? Like it's when you see someone grieving like that, it's like it affects everybody differently, and it's yeah, it's tough.
The use of natural light in this shot is really interesting because back then they had electric lights, but a lot of these older buildings were built prior to electric lights, so they were all built for natural lighting. Like, have you ever been in a building that was built like up until like the 1920s? They all have giant windows to let the maximum amount of natural light inside. So I just thought that was really, and then you got the white marble and everything, just how it's lit.
Yeah. Again, it's you know, with Christopher Nolan movies, the cinematography, the shots, the angles, the way things are filmed, it's so he truly is like an artist of his craft, whereas now a lot of directors are just like, let's crank out a bunch of movies, put them in front of a green screen, give them some special effects, whatever. But this is like Christopher Nolan still, like, he cares about like every little detail of, just like you said, just like the lighting, the backdrop, the everything. It you don't really see that much
even
anymore.
this low lit scene looks like natural light.
Yeah.
I mean, that you know, back in the heyday of making movies, they didn't have all this, you know, stuff to enhance the lighting and everything.
Right.
They had to rely on natural light.
Here's a question. Do you think this is dude, or is this a different actor and then they just kind of pretend like it's him in the end?
I think it probably was Christian Bale.
Really? Do you think that's Christian Bale, or do you think that's a different actor?
I think it's probably Christian Bale with some, like, you know, makeup and prosthetics and stuff on his face. Because I don't think Christopher Nolan would have like set up this big reveal for the end of his movie without having the actor really do the work. You know, because you could go back and look and go, oh, that's not really him, and that's not really, like, I think that if he was going to do it, he was going to go full board and be like, okay, if we're going to say this is like the twin brother of this character, we're going to put the prosthetics, the makeup, the whatever, and it's like we're going to do it. I think it was him.
I think so. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the mechanic, the machinist.
Okay,
Have you guys
Machinist.
seen the
Okay, yeah.
machinist?
Enough said.
Oh,
Holy
No.
crap, that movie!
No, I have not.
that
It's
was
been a
right
long
after
time.
he
So,
did
as-
Batman too. So he put on all
Yeah.
that muscle and bulk, and then he slimmed down to nothing. Literally eating, I think it was like an apple for like the entire day for
It's,
several
it
days.
was like an apple and a cigarette and a cup of coffee, and whatever. And then, as someone who works as a machinist, oh man, when I watched that movie and that guy gets his arm ripped off, ooh, oh god,
Mm.
oh that's real.
Oh,
That's what I do
Whoa.
every day. That is my
That's-
trade.
Much.
Oh man. Oh, that
Yeah,
movie
that
is
was a
rough, but I love that movie too.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard fantastic things. I need to add it to my list.
It's
My list,
Same.
it's
of
really
course,
good, but it's really weird.
yeah. My
Yeah,
movie list
it
is
is.
growing far faster than I'm actually watching anything, so it might be a while.
Actually, like, not to totally like derail everything too much right now, but I just watched that new movie that came out recently with Demi Moore, The Substance. Holy crap, that movie. If you can watch the David Cronenberg remake of The Fly, I highly recommend watching The Substance. It's a great movie, but it's not for the weak of heart.
I just looked it up. So it's 100% Christian Bale plays the Fallon character.
Cool.
Nice. And I
which
think
is
that
really
just
good,
continues
'cause
the narrative. Yeah.
I kind of thought that with you have them in both scenes and stuff, that's what Disney would have done. They would have hired a different person and then swapped their head out.
They would have done
I
the
don't know. They would
the
have put a
BS
female head
version, yeah.
on a male actor's body. Like, I don't know.
Well, in addition to like just him playing that character, I think we're given clues as to who we're actually seeing on screen because we have the hand obviously that we see later on, but that's not always shown. But sometimes she calls him Alfred, sometimes she calls him Freddy. And I think that's a clue that she might actually be in on it more than we think it is. She is.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's
like
just
maybe
like
she
a
doesn't
pet
even
name
know,
or
but like
something.
she has like an inkling, like she has like
Right.
a suspicion.
Well, she
Yeah.
does say too that there's times when he says "I love you" and he means it,
Mhm.
and there's times he
Mhm.
says "I love you" and he doesn't mean it. And I think
Right.
that's her subtly picking up on the fact that they are two
Yeah.
different people, because you can't fake that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like she doesn't know it yet, but she's picking up on it. It's like some days you mean it, some days you don't. Like, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So okay, that's good. That's good to have a confirmation because I very much felt that too. It's like I was like, if they're gonna do this storyline, I feel like he played both characters and they had to do it in just a certain way.
all right.
'Cause
Let's get down to brass tacks.
once we bring in with that.
Let's get down to brass tacks. Scarlett Johansson or Rebecca Hall?
Yes.
Rebecca Hall.
Porque no las dos.
I mean, who on the panel is going to say otherwise? Yes.
Yes. Okay. Good. That's the
Which one of them has a better
appropriate
beard?
Mm. For the ladies, you might have to wait to, like 40, 50, 60 years before you find out, but
It
we
would
got
be like
ScarJo going in
a
the
two
chat.
whisker beard by then.
I mean, I'll say in this movie, I'm going Scarlet. That was before we knew that she kind of went full retard.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, okay. If we're gonna go character in the movie, no, I'm not going with her because she's the one that like was sent over and then betrayed and like went full like dark side and everything. No, but yes, just
But
the
that's not
actresses.
fair. She did it on. She got betrayed first. Don't be like that. She
Well, I
got
mean,
screwed
it's
over
true.
first.
It's true.
So
It's true.
her reasoning was perfectly sane. Like, I mean,
But
he
she
did. He
didn't,
treated
though.
her like some just stagehand. No, she was better than that.
Okay,
She
so let
didn't
me
betray
ask
him,
you.
though.
Let's flip
They
the
paid
script
off
a little bit
the
here.
actor dude.
Oh,
Let's
flip
flip
it,
the
Shieldwall.
script a little bit here. Christian Bale or
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh
It's
Jackman.
Yeah,
Oh, have
Jackman.
you seen his chest? All the fuzzy. Yeah, I'm Hugh Jackman.
Hugh
all day.
Jackman.
As a very straight man, Hugh Jackman any day.
Yes.
But
Not in a gay way.
If I could have both, I would have both. I'm just saying. Just
See, but
saying.
that's a tough one
saying.
because I feel like Christian Bale commits to his roles more.
Mhm.
Oh, well, if we're going on that, I just thought you meant like aesthetically pleasing.
Oh,
I don't know, man.
excuse me. That's
trying to
fine.
figure
Okay.
out how gay everyone is on the panel.
Let's discuss
Look at
roles
Hugh Jackman in
commitment
this
versus
movie.
aesthetically pleasing after you see Hugh Jackman at the end of Deadpool and Wolverine, Squeako. I
Yeah.
think you won't care about commitment to the role
But-
at that point.
I didn't
Look
care
at
to the
Hugh- look
commitment
at
in
Hugh
this one.
Jackman
He
in
took
this
that
one.
shirt off. I was like,
Right?
yes.
Right? That's
Hugh
just
Jackman-
kind of what happened.
The-
But
Oh,
it's not.
Hugh
It's not just
Jackman
that.
also
Wait,
plays-
Jana said what I was about to say that.
Is
I
it-
can't. He's
Jan-
got this weird like I've got marbles in my mouth thing going on. What is that? Is
Jana,
that part
is
of the
it
role or
because
is this
he's
hard for
British?
you?
I
Is it
think
because
so.
he's British?
It's probably because his tongue is uneven.
Oh, so he's like Jean-Claude Van Damme. Jean-Claude Van Damme has a lopsided tongue. I don't know if y'all noticed
Shout
that.
out to Pops and his stream before this one.
Yes.
How does anybody even know that?
I know
Don't
that.
answer it.
I pay attention
Mhm.
to things, Shieldwall.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman
All right.
is
Well,
a
anyway,
very good
now that
actor.
we got that
They
out of the
both
way,
can
it,
morph.
just questions that had to be answered. So now
Both
he's got to
Hugh
Hugh
do.
Jackman.
But what about the chick at the
Both
beginning? What about
Hugh
Hugh
Jackman
Jackman's
are-
first wife? What about where does she fit in your arrangement of helpers? Would you
She's
pick
dead.
her
She's
over
gone.
Oh, well, the
Out of-
other chick dies too. You're only left with ScarJo.
All I'll
Don't
say
be
is
like
that
that.
they're all better than the very last one he ends up with. Only in the movie for a couple of minutes, but yeah, they're all better because it looks like he went and got a lunch lady or something.
Don't be dissing
this
us
is-
lunch ladies.
Last one, yeah.
This is a like I think probably I'm not a magician, obviously. I'm just a man with a beard. But I think this is probably a lot of what
That's magical. in
people
itself.
who aspire to be in this big headlining magician. This is at the point like a lot of them find themselves like, oh, I'm doing the parlor tricks. Nobody's buying it.
Well, they
Okay,
want
good.
because of what happened. They can't get good bookings. Nobody will
Yeah.
touch them. So he's got to
Exactly.
do like, you know,
But he
back street.
then he like okay, I'm
bugs.
gonna pull out this big trick. And then I mean, no pun intended, it backfires because it's the catch a bullet trick. And what he said earlier, or what was told to him earlier, is somebody could even slip just a button down the barrel, and it
Yeah.
becomes dangerous. We saw that with like Brandon Lee, where it wasn't even a loaded gun; it was, like a cleaning thing, like just a part left in the barrel was enough to kill him. But when we see this, when the gun is handed, oh, there's also the guy in the background, his brother. But you get that very subtle, just like the sound of something being loaded into the barrel. They don't.
Well, you
they
can
don't-
watch him put his
Yeah.
hand over the front of it. And
Yes.
That's when he's putting it in there.
Yes.
Whatever it was.
I think he full on put on just
He slipped a
Uh,
bullet in there.
yeah. It was
Mhm.
full on just
Yeah.
like a shot.
Yeah, you saw it. Him put it in there right before he took the gun.
And then we see them, spoilers, of course, again.
Yeah,
his
Jana,
brother
rip
running up.
Brandon Lee. Yep.
Yep.
Hashtag RIP.
But now they have to change their act because they have to hide the hand, which actually reminded me a lot of the silent comedy actor Harold Lloyd. Which, if you don't know, one of his bits, he was carrying around a dummy bomb, and it actually went off in his hand and blew off a couple of his fingers. So from that point on, whenever he was on camera, he had a flesh-colored glove with stuffed fingers that he would use because he was self-conscious about the fact that he was missing fingers. Going back to the Star Trek reference, similar to James Doohan, and who played Scotty, not liking to show off the fact that he was missing part of one finger.
Well, the other thing about this is that it affected his ability to do magic because he can't do sleight of hand and stuff. So basically, this rivalry between the two is causing them to, it's like devolving into one person hurts the other, hurts the other, hurts the other.
Yeah.
Now, this is very important, this scene right here, where she's like, wow, your fingers are just not healing. Why are they bleeding again all of a sudden? and you just pass it
yeah,
off
I
as
forgot. I
whatever.
forgot about that. Yes, that's
Yep.
right. The commitment to the bit. Ah, I completely forgot.
Right.
Yeah,
It's will
'cause he
come
Chopped
in
him off of
later.
the other guy.
Right, and they go back and
That's
forth.
not how
At
you
least they give
use
you a flashback
wood
for it.
tools.
So, but yeah,
I completely forgot about that part.
And that like the commitment to the act where they said like, okay, you can wear a glove, you can this, you can that, whatever, but it's like it wasn't good enough even for the other guy to just wear a glove. They're like, nope, we gotta chop your fingers off too. Like we gotta commit to the bit. Like, holy shit, man.
and that's just it. Their determination and drive and obsession with magic and being the
Yeah.
best and one-upping the other guy and getting revenge. It kind of just drives the entire movie. But
And again,
let-
the whole thing about the rivalry, it's still
Mhm.
it's just like who is gonna go farther? Who is gonna do the more extreme thing
right.
to
But
outshine the
let's
other
be
guy?
honest, the reason that they have this attribute about him is why these women like him. Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So
And
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
why they're attracted to him in the first
this
place.
movie definitely pushes it to the extreme, but I think this level of competition actually does exist between competing magicians. I think
Oh
we
yeah,
just probably don't
absolutely.
see we
Yeah,
don't see anything. Obviously, not to the point of like cutting off fingers these days or anything like that. Maybe back in the day when you could make it, quote unquote believable that you actually had magic powers or whatever. Everyone now knows it's illusion, it's sleight of hand, it's misdirection, but that competition between magicians drives the art being better. So yeah, this is completely believable that somebody, especially back in the day, would go so far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like how their rivalry kind of mirrors Edison and Tesla,
And Tesla, right?
because
Oh
their
yeah.
rivalry was
Yep.
big.
So why did his name's Cutter, right? Why did Cutter choose him and not the other guy? Did they explain
Because
that?
they go farther back.
Maybe he believed him.
Not only that, from what I understand, is that him and these two characters have a longer relationship, and the other guy is an add-on to the act. So it started out with him and his wife and this guy, and then that other dude joined, and that's why his loyalties are here.
Okay.
Michael Caine hiding young women in the closet.
It's
Yep.
like, all right, welcome to the show. Also, how small can you make yourself?
He tells her to get in there, and he's like, "Don't breathe too much."
Yeah,
Breathe as
exactly.
little as possible. Yeah.
So he's made this contraption that's supposed to. It's all spring loaded and
I love
everything.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
I
looks
love this.
very like late 1800s medical devicey. Like
Yeah.
this would be in a Nine Inch Nails
It also
music video or Marilyn Manson video or something,
I mean,
also
it's
looks
just
like something
practical.
that could
Sorry, go ahead.
paralyze you if it
Oh, yeah.
breaks and it's in tension.
I mean, it looks just practical enough that it's believable. And I think this goes
Yeah.
to what you were saying earlier, Blue Collar, about him, Nolan using just as much practicality in his films as possible. So I don't know if this even remotely would do the things that we see on film, but I don't care because it's close enough that my suspension of disbelief it's out. It's
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch Michael Caine forget she's in there. It's like, oh, I forgot the woman.
Hey, is there that one chick that we stuck
Are you
in a
still
closet
breathing in
somewhere?
there?
Ah!
See, now I'm just thinking of Arrested Development, where Job like hides his dad in the tomb of the whatever. I don't have time for your tricks, illusions, Dad. You don't have time for my illusions.
Your illusion.
I'm glad
So-
I'm not the only one here. I appreciate that.
He doesn't want it to kill the bird. He
Yeah.
wants it
Right.
to. So what it does is he's got some wires that he hooks up to the cage. And he's got a bird in there on a string. Now he's got to do this. He's got to charge it so that the spring action is locked. And then when he does the trick, it pulls the bird out and then collapses the cage in one motion.
And since he's the one that knows when it happens, he can bring his hands down to catch the bird before anybody else has a chance to react. But yeah,
but so people will put their hands on either side and on top and bottom, and then when he does it, it'll pop and then it'll pull the bird out and the bird will be fine.
Yeah, I thought it kind of pulled the bird into his sleeve a little bit.
It does. It pulls it into the sleeve.
Okay.
And then the thing collapses, and I think it goes into the other arm is what's supposed to happen. Like it totally disappears up his sleeve, and then the bird pops out.
Okay. Jake, I cannot highlight that comment.
So they show it to this guy, and he's like, "All right, I'll give you guys a booking because that's pretty cool."
And the bird's alive.
And the bird's alive because, like, he showed that other trick with the collapsing one. You just kill the bird.
Yeah.
You eat the cats, and then you kill the bird, and then you put a new one in there. Nobody can tell.
I mean, that's even today, that's the nature of show business. Is like you need to find the person who's in charge of the venue and impress them enough that they'll let you do a show.
Also,
so, yeah.
This is very important. He takes on the name the Great Danton because his wife told him that would be a cool name for a new act, and so he doesn't want to change that.
I mean, and that's nice. That's great too. Just carrying on that, like,
right,
for her
the
memory.
legacy from his wife. The other thing is those magic magician jackets have like all kinds of pockets and stuff in them, and little secret places to hide stuff.
Hey, look, I'm not hiding anything. I got my sleeves rolled up, so nobody can say anything.
We all know you hide it in your beard.
Just don't look behind the beard.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a neck there. I swear that I don't have one, but it might exist. I think Jacob might have stepped away for a second. I see him muted.
So who's going to be the first one to build one of these is what I want to know. Which one of you guys is going to whip this out?
Functional? I don't know. But it looks badass.
Yes, I said it, Mando. I said it.
It
You
looks
said whip
great.
it out?
Sorry.
Like how I snuck it in there.
It looks like some kind of like maybe back stretcher or something.
Actually, it looks something out of what the I forget the doc guy from Pete's Dragon would like strap onto somebody and like torture them with.
The guy you're going to pass him.
Yeah, Jan, I think we're just like moving right along beyond that. No one's stopping on that comment.
Yeah, we're just going. We're just going.
No!
Just moving along.
We're gonna go full Muppets movie. Moving right along.
So now they're gonna call some people up from the audience, which in my opinion is always dangerous because you never know what
never a good idea.
Do. I mean, unless they're doing like a card trick or something, but
see,
especially back in these days, everyone was drunk in the audience. And
what do you mean?
Well, I thought they had people they picked ahead of time, so that's why whenever
usually they do.
The opposite magician, whenever they were at each other's shows, would step up. I was like, wait a minute, because I always thought they had like their.
Well, I think for some of the tricks, they legitimately just pick a random person from the audience.
They did discuss that earlier in the movie because one of them says like you can always use a plant, and then somebody else says, well, you can't always use a plant because you always risk if somebody comes to shows up for 2 shows and the same person goes to the stage both times, then they start kind of asking questions.
Right.
Yeah, asking a volunteer from the audience is always risky unless you're incredibly confident, or maybe in this instance, overconfident in being able to force a very specific outcome.
Right. And so here's Christian Bale's character who already knows that this thing kind of works. So when he sees the 2 fingers, he causes it to activate prematurely. And not only does it squish the bird, it breaks that lady's fingers that's helping.
Mm.
Oh,
See?
this part scared the snot out of me.
Yeah, he like crunches the cage.
So it's
She's like, stop pulling away, woman. I'm trying to get your hand out
so
of
it
there.
broke her fingers, and so you got that. Nowadays it'd be a giant lawsuit or something. But back then I guess it was just like, well, here's some ice, go home. But they're like, yeah, your show's over, get out. And he's like, but wait, we still have more.
Yep. Oh, that guy also looks familiar. I know I've seen him in other things too.
Wasn't he in Remains of the Day or something?
I think so.
Yeah. Actually, that might have been a much older movie. He might have been a lot younger then, but because that movie's like 96, I think. Also, there's a journal that he writes in, and also Christian Bale has a journal that he wants to get because it supposedly has a secret of how he's doing this. Well, it hasn't actually showed up yet, but there'll be a magic trick that he does that makes him super famous. And then he wants to find out how he's doing it.
Well, and having these secret journals was historically, I'm sure currently still a thing with magicians, is they'll have their tricks, but often will code them or word them a different way. You see that even with was it Penn and Teller Fool Us, where they speak cryptically when they understand something, because a magician understands that kind of cryptic approach to things without having to lay it out there for the public. So even going full on like cipher, where we learned that there's one word that translates the entire journal that he needs to find out. That was very much a thing, is you wanted to have all this stuff preserved so you could pass it on when you got to the end of your life, but you didn't want anybody to discover it until you decided that it was time to learn it.
It's like, we swear it on the precious.
Can't unsee it.
No. There it is, right there.
You see, in the
See, I don't see it.
The face. Oh, the face.
The terrible thing is the man has a fantastic voice, like a actual intimidating voice when he needs it to be. But like even myself, I still just hear Gollum.
But that, like, they animated Gollum's face to look like his face. It's so just right there, that smile. It's like you can't unsee it.
Yeah, I've been listening to the Lord of the Rings audiobook that he did. It's great.
I wish I had a voice like him.
This is so cool.
Oh, Jake's taking off.
Me too.
Thanks for dropping.
Me too.
Thanks for dropping by, Jake.
Hanging in, yeah. Have a good one.
Do the YouTube things. You know the buttons to hit.
Follow things. This is so cool. This is real. This is actually a thing that Tesla did.
The wireless electricity.
He's like sending
yes
electricity through the ground, and it lights them up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't even know if it's necessarily through the ground, because Tesla did have experiments that sent it completely just through the air. It required a lot of energy to do it and was kind of short range. Through the ground probably would have provided better range with less energy. But yes, this is definitely something that he experimented with.
And I've seen this in what's it? It's Formula E. It's the electric version of the Formula One.
Mhm.
They actually have power-ups on the track that give the battery, the electric motors, a boost.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Just like a video game.
Yeah, you pump enough energy into the atmosphere, something's going to receive it.
Yeah.
It's called a Xenic surface wave. That's the electromagnetic waves that goes through the air.
All right. Well,
there happens to
No.
be one on 35 in Texas.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if
Sorry,
I feel
weird, strange
smarter or
fact.
dumber because I didn't know that.
Ah, so cool.
Oh,
Electricity.
this.
Yeah, he had that Tesla coil thing that would shoot electricity everywhere, but it wouldn't. It was, as long as you had the right stuff, it's totally harmless.
Yeah, I mean, there's
The other
famous
guy in a
picture
chainmail suit walking through it, and it'll like strike the guy, but it won't hurt him because it's grounded to a thing coming off his feet.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's.
Oh my. Oh my god. Oh, you know.
Quick, Squeaka, what's the atomic weight of cesium?
You didn't even actually have to have all of the like chainmail suit and things, because there's a famous picture of Tesla sitting next to his Tesla tower with everything around him, and like the electricity's going out, and he's just sitting in a chair reading a book.
Well, in the modern days, they use the chainmail suit because it looks cooler because there's way more electricity coming off of it.
Well, because it actually attracts it to the person while still grounding. Yes.
Yeah.
132.90545 U.
Oh my goodness! Everybody just stopped listening to anything else anybody else is
saying.
saying.
Almost passed out there.
Oh, I had to answer Sir Shieldwall.
Jana's like challenging you with like the sexy science talk.
Or in a mole. Are you talking about the mammal
in
or
STEM, guys? Come on.
All right, Steven, focus. We're talking about the Prestige. This is sweet, but also telling on who in this pair is actually the dad to that girl. Because the guy behind the bars actually cares. He seems to care. I mean, okay. How do I put this? The twin outside, I forget his name, with the hat, is taking care of her. But it's very clear that the guy behind the bars cares for her as her dad.
The real father.
Yes. Because he's giving the instructions. You do this. You take care of her. You everything. Because he knows he can't be there to take care of her, and he's, facing death at this point.
Yeah, this is a good part.
Abracadabra.
Ball trick. He uses the ball, him messing up with the ball trick to distract the guard so he can put the chain around his ankle.
It's so good.
Got him.
That's why you can't trust a magician.
No.
Wherever they're saying to look, you look the other way.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah, some of this interior, not what we're seeing here in the middle where he's walking through, but the exterior where you see those slats where lights are coming through is actually pretty accurate to some of what his lab looked like in Colorado, from at least pictures that I've seen before.
I loved when he walked through that thing. Oh my goodness. Watched it twice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because Beard let me. But, oh, it's so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is cool too. He's like hands him the light bulb and then grabs his hand. Ha!
See, and this is something that at the time nobody could figure out. You can do this now with a like a neon tube or a
Mhm.
fluorescent tube,
Mhm.
and one of those lightning balls you get from like Spencer's Gifts.
Yep.
It's like somebody touches the ball, grabs the fluorescent tube, you grab the fluorescent tube and touch the lightning ball, and it lights up between you. What are you giggling about? Okay, I don't need to ask.
I've done this experiment.
But yeah, I mean, it's man, I wish Tesla had been around longer.
Yeah. I wish
Stop it.
Tesla.
He was like
Beat
86 when he
Edison.
died. So
Well, okay,
He
I
I
guess
wish
lived a
Tesla
pretty
was
decent
I
amount
wish
of
he
got
had
as
been
big as
around.
Edison. We would.
Yeah, I wish he'd been around longer and actually
Mars by
taken
now.
seriously. Let me put it
Yes.
that way.
oh, like actually got the funding to do his research
Yes,
and all that kind of
yes.
stuff.
And
yeah.
didn't have all of his stuff, taken by other people and given credit to other people.
Yeah.
By other people,
we would
being
probably
the
be doing this
government
live
or-
stream. We would probably be doing this live stream on Mars right now.
Right?
You never
I don't know
know.
about that. Let's go with Moon. Let's not go Mars. Let's go
okay.
Moon.
Okay. Reaching too far.
The
there.
dark
Sorry.
side.
Best casting choice of rock star play, a rock star of science.
Yeah.
That is actually a fantastic casting. And I would, like I said at the beginning, I would not have expected him to play this role just like so subtly because he's always been so over the top.
Because like we said earlier, like it kind of takes you a minute to be like, oh shit, like that's David Bowie. Like,
Mhm.
so you don't quite catch it at first, and like, oh, okay, I got it now.
It's the Goblin King.
The
Did she
babe,
say
the
it?
babe with the power.
I just want to know where mine is.
Is this the point where he tells her
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna go work for him? I can't remember.
No, not yet. I think it's after
Okay, not
this.
yet. Okay.
This is the part where she like
She's
fixes
"You're
his
gonna put
costume
that
or
man,
something.
aren't you?" Yeah, it makes it look better.
Yeah, where she's like, "We're gonna do this together."
She's using her feminine wiles to trick him.
Yes.
Well, I think she legit liked him at first until he pulled his, "You're just a stagehand. Go do this thing for me."
Well, yeah, I think she actually was falling for him, but he still has, he's still faithful to his
The
dead
rivalry.
wife. Oh, and the gloves. Now did you start seeing the gloves?
And they don't know how he did it.
Yeah.
He looks so unamused.
Yeah, he looks so.
Like,
That's a
I
double.
don't
Maybe
bloody
thinks-
well know how he did it. You get yourself a bloody good double.
But he's right. He is absolutely right. He's like, the only way I can think to do it is to have a double. It turns out it's exactly what was happening.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know how he did it, but the way we're gonna do it, we're just gonna get you a double. And that guy ruins everything because they let him in on their secrets, and he gets
Mhm.
drunk and ruins everything.
Hey, it's drunk Wolverine. I mean,
Well, because it's not incredibly short drunk Wolverine. For those of you who saw
Hey.
Deadpool and Wolverine,
oh,
What is wrong with short people?
Excuse you. That's what I was about to say. Short people are just
Okay,
fine.
but
okay?
if you saw Deadpool and Wolverine, you know
Oh.
the scene I'm talking about where he's like the extra short Wolverine, like the
Yeah,
comic
they
book
made him
accurate,
extra
like
short. They made it extra short.
extra short.
If I remember correctly, Wolverine's actual size in the comic books is like 5'2", so he and I are the same height.
Yeah, in the movie, he's basically fun size Wolverine. He's the
By the
candy you
way-
get on Halloween that you don't want.
You're right. By the way, Mando, how are you down there?
Yeah.
Whoa. That's a whoa.
Hold on, there are two of us down here below her. What are you saying?
You guys are really short.
That's busy. That's what I'm saying.
Squeaker, I didn't ask
Yeah,
what
remember,
you were
we're-
saying.
I'm sorry.
I didn't
I
ask.
keeping
opened the
things
door there.
PG, remember, eh?
I'm sorry. I opened the door there.
I
That
didn't
was my
say
fault.
I didn't say anything. Okay. I'll have you know that the rain still falls on you first. Thank you. I'm 5'2". Thank you, Jana.
You can
Hey,
kind of gauge.
5'7's not bad.
You can
Okay.
kind of gauge the passage of
Thank
time
you.
in the movie by the little girl growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Baby.
a couple years have gone by. Obviously, his show has taken off. He's got enough to now to buy a house. Things are happy.
Oh, missed this. Steven had to take off later, man.
Oh, later, Steven.
Hey, what's up,
Howdy,
Dempsey?
Dempsey. Sorry, the panel in the chat a little bit more spicy than I'm used to, so I'm having to keep track of things.
He did good
I-
here. Hugh Jackman
Oh,
did
yeah.
good here playing this other character.
He really did.
Yes.
It's fantastic. He plays it just different enough.
It's like, you want to hear a joke? Just grabs him around the neck. Are you laughing?
Are you
And they do
laughing
also
now?
give him they also do give him those like fake teeth from like what the hunter
Big fake
from
teeth, yeah.
Jumanji. That's what it reminded me of. With
Yeah.
the mustache and the teeth. I was like, yeah.
He looked like in that moment, when he was at the bar, like he could have been in like the movie Tombstone or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And this is such a commitment because he's the showman. So he has to put on the show, drop down, and trust that his double is actually going to finish the trick. And then they can move on to the next thing. That's a huge amount of trust for somebody.
also there's so many things that can go wrong. The wrong person sees you together with them, or
Mhm.
you know what I mean.
No.
Although
He-
a lot of people might just
I
assume
would've-
that that's what's happening anyway.
I would have set up a slide that when you go down the hole, you slide over to the other position. Up you go.
Hey, I think people probably
That
did
might
that.
work. Probably. Yeah, I love this. He's like,
Plus-
look, he's pretending to be you. And first thing he does is trip.
Mhm.
The plus the way that
Yeah,
the
they just need
doors
to
are
remain stinking drunk all the time.
with the trap doors, somebody sitting at the wrong angle would be able to see them go up and down. You know what I mean? Like somebody standing
point.
over on the right side, extreme right or
You
left.
have to
They
Fair
yeah,
have to play it
point.
just right to
because the
make it
only thing
work.
blocking them from seeing the trap door are the actual wooden doors. So
Yeah.
I would have maybe done something different with the frames or something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I give them some leeway, assuming that they would only sell certain seats in the theater. It may come up with an excuse while like the box seats where Statler and Waldorf would be sitting, so they can't see what's going on and heckle them.
I mean, it's a
They
minor
also
kind of
did a
thing,
good
but
job
Yeah.
here, having them so close together, and they did a really good job of cutting it to make it look good.
Yeah, whether that was a double or just a composited between Hugh Jackman in front of Hugh Jackman, it still looks really good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They
I
probably
looked it
got
up.
some sort of
It's
actor that was close.
it's composited basically. Now when they're in the scenes together and he's not looking at him, it's like a double with a wig on
Yeah.
or something. But
Right.
when it's face shot, they just shot it twice and put him in there.
Oh yeah.
And it is interesting that the actors get to play two separate roles.
I mean, the timing of this trick to throw the hat, drop down, pop up, catch it every single time. Damn.
All timing.
You could make it so that the one with pulleys and stuff, you can make so the one trapdoor activated the other one.
Well, I mean, yeah, but just in general, I mean,
Right.
the practicality of doing a trick like this, even today,
Yeah.
to throw
absolutely.
a hat and then catch it is that's fantastic stuff.
The thing is, though, is that he, as the lead, now he doesn't get the applause because he's down in the bottom.
Yep.
So
Right.
that really kind of eats at him.
He doesn't get the prestige.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, ba-da-da.
Oh, Jana, I can't. Okay, yeah, this is the point where she's thinking there's something more there, and like, no, you're just
I want
part of
you
the
to go
act.
spy for me. Yeah, this is when he tells her, like, I want you to go work for them.
But he's going to suspect me. Yes, of course. So you're going to tell him everything. Ooh.
Sassy!
Okay, this is
Hey.
Sasquatch in the chat. Congratulations on the 400.
Sastastic.
Oh
Thank
my.
you, Sassy. The farmer is working at night. Look like an alien ship out my window. So yeah, they're doing this trick here. It's like it didn't work. It's still there. It's just like, yeah, he sent me over here to steal your work. Really? Oh, I need to start scrubbing people.
Mm.
So yes, she starts working over there. But yeah, he blames her for betraying him, but it's actually the drunk dude.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he finds him in a bar.
Yeah.
And he's
There's
drunk.
Wolverine.
That's great. They just needed to lock him up when he wasn't working.
Really, yeah, they really did.
Yeah, this is good. He's like,
He throws the hat, drops down,
and the
and
guy's
nothing.
just standing there. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh man, when he falls and there's not the thing underneath him. Oh, that crunching sound of his leg. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, it's also a nice touch to like for what we saw earlier with him walking with a cane. I mean, it's not some big dramatic thing. It's just a failure / betrayal of his trick.
Yeah, I do. I really like this part. And then the other guys over there, the other magician is Arthur, is on the other side.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he plays it off so well that everybody thinks that the audience thinks it's part of the trick.
Yeah.
And again, he moved the stuff, so and then he basically screwed him over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it doesn't go into great detail how he did it. Like again, there should have been a lot of ways this shouldn't have happened.
He just got under there and he moved whatever
Yeah, but there
whatever
should have
soft
been
thing he was supposed to land on. He
there
moved
should
it
have
and
been
he broke his
stagehands
leg
back
and
there and stuff. It's just it's like a
Well,
bunch
and
of movies that'll be like, oh, there's going to be a scene in the mall, and now suddenly there's nobody in there
well, and
except
this plays into what we saw earlier, where they were accusing him of moving the water tank into position, which we find out later that was always intended to be in position.
right.
But yeah, this plays into that whole thing. Again, being this movie being the magic trick that it is, it's leading you along a story, is telling you certain things while you're not paying attention to the stuff that you should be.
Right. Pay no attention to what's going on over here while we put the rabbit in the hat over here. Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the same thing in the Joker movie, where they somehow got all of those explosives in the bottom of a ferry and then captured people with their hands to guns, and nobody knew about it.
See,
You know,
and that guy, his in disguise twin, we should have paid attention so many times throughout this because
that he was,
Yeah,
he was just an
they'll
insignificant side character.
they'll mention him by
Yeah.
name and he instantly leaves the scene. And you'll only see him from behind or silhouette or something like that. You should pay attention. That's something that's so obvious, but this movie does such a good job of saying, no, don't look at that guy. Look over here.
And they do that with the camera work. That's one of the cool things. Like with the camera work, like if you aren't paying attention, you miss a lot.
Yeah. Apparently
Just
also
do you miss
Mando
it?
because she likes shiny things. So just jingle some keys over here and you can get away with it pretty much anything.
Exactly. Is that how I lost my last car? Dang
My
it.
keys on me. Dang it.
Ooh, shiny.
I'll find something else shiny around here. There's that, but I don't want to flash it on the screen too much.
Oh, don't you worry. Periodically, I look in the background. I'm like, that's a nice shiny.
Yeah,
That's a very nice shiny. I like the nice
Could just
shiny.
take your hat off.
that also causes a big flash. So be careful.
Hey.
Touche.
Yeah, this is good. They trap that Fallon guy. Ow. Yeah. It's like, saves me from putting an air hole in there.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite lines.
So good.
Just Michael Caine, just like, if you save me from putting an air hole.
So good.
They're like, hey, we figured it out. Better get digging.
But I don't think they do. They don't figure out that there's a twin, that he's a twin.
Okay,
so.
yeah. Okay, that's true. Yeah, they don't actually figure that out.
Not until the very, very end. The big twist.
Yeah.
What a
Yes,
twist.
the prestige at the end. It's like, better get digging.
Hmm. Which, okay, even at this moment, it's like, how do you not realize, like, you've just buried someone that looks like him that he cares about, and you're like, oh, you better get digging, and like, and you didn't realize that was like a twin brother or something? Like,
Well,
how did that?
maybe they're looking at it like how and I got to look up the name because I just can't keep saying. Let's see, Robert Angier, Hugh Jackman's character. Maybe they're looking at like how he has a relationship to Cutter,
Mhm.
Michael Caine's character. So maybe they think that basically they've trapped his source of like all his tricks or something like that.
Yeah.
And not really making the connection that there's more there.
Yeah, and he sees Tesla and thinks, oh, that's where he got it. He got something from Tesla to help him do his trick, which sends him on a goose chase that leads to something else.
Well, and he's also looking for the single word because he knows there's one word to,
and it's Tesla.
Decrypt the journal that he has.
Right, and it's Tesla. That's the keyword. I think so. And then they're like, I go to America.
To America.
There are no cats in America.
No.
Sorry, also another reference to the show I was on yesterday after the weekend. Check it out. An American Tale.
Oh, I love that movie.
Faithful Goes West.
I got that darn song in my head.
You're welcome.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs.
Oh, that song.
Cats in America.
Yeah, doesn't she give him like, okay, maybe not her. So, I think it's his actual. Okay,
there's no tension at this table whatsoever between her and his wife.
Yeah, because like his wife gives him crap for wearing the mustache and the beard, and he's like, no, it's for the show. People expect it. So even okay, there's so I don't want to sound like a pretentious ass here, but there's so many layers here because he's like they're keeping the show for all of the public that it's one man, that he's keeping the show for all the public that he's the man on the stage, and meanwhile his wife, which may not be his wife depending on if she's in on the thing or not, he's keeping up the show for that, regardless whether he's wearing the magician mustache and beard.
Neither of them ever break character.
Yeah.
They're always on, always performing, no matter what. And that's part of the sacrifice for the art.
Yeah, see, even if the wife, I'm going to say the wife, because I don't know whether Alfred or Freddie, because there are some clues in there that she might know who she's talking to. Even if she's in on it, we can tell by now it's straining. Like, she's tired of it. She's done. Like, she just kind of wants a normal life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got that face right there.
Would that constant act be considered part of the turn? Just
see,
I don't want to sound pretentious.
Maybe.
Oh, there's so much
that's
here.
the look. That's that look he's got on his face right there. I don't want to sound pretentious, but
he looks like he just got bit by an ant.
Right?
See, I was thinking that's definitely a actually face.
Well, actually,
I know you don't really like the mustache, but let me tell you why it works.
I'll tell you why it works.
But also, creative blue collar. Do you need to head out?
Oh, I missed.
Yeah, I gotta go ahead and head out for the night.
I'm doing your job for you, Beard.
I'm trying,
thank you.
Trying to put it out there in the private chat. Trying to. I don't need them to go like this second, but
who's gonna be our expert?
I'm gonna have to yield to Beard of Liberty, which
Oh, that's a bad plan.
Oh, he's pretentious. I don't know if I trust him.
I hand it off to you to be the Christopher Nolan expert at this point. But yeah, Jacob, thank you so much again for having me on.
Yeah.
I regret that it has taken me so long to get onto your channel. Hopefully it won't take another like 2 years to make it all work. But yes, I need to sign off for the night.
Well,
but
you got anything you wanna plug?
If if I can, so life's kind of crazy right now between work and other work and other work and other stuff. If I can manage to make it happen, I'll be on a solo stream tomorrow on my channel for After Work Beers at 3:00 California time. Otherwise, I'll be back for Late to the Party news on Monday, which is usually at 5:00 California time. But yeah, I don't know. We'll just we'll see how the week goes, because sometimes work gets the best of me, and when I get off work, I just don't feel like doing anything. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Well, it was great having you on. Thanks
Cool.
for being on the show.
Being on, yeah, man.
Yeah, again, thank you guys so much for having me. It's so good to be here with Shieldwall of Mando, Beard of Liberty. I think maybe I've been on with you with Roman, maybe not. I'm
Once
not
or
sure,
twice,
but
Yeah, you've been on.
if I haven't, it's good to meet you. Good to see you, Squeaka. I think this is
Good
my
to
first
meet
time
with
on
you.
with you. Good to
Thank
meet you as well. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, but I hope you guys have a good rest of your night and the rest of your week. And I'll see you guys all next time.
Stay safe.
Later, man.
Take
Have
care.
a good one.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody. Yeah.
All right. It's like he notices these dudes. These are Edison dudes
Mhm.
from the
Freaking Edison.
deadly Edison gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a huge rivalry between Edison and Tesla. The thing about that about Edison was he had a couple of good inventions when he was young, and then he got popular and he put together like a place called just slipped my mind. I just had it in my head. But it was in New Jersey. It was a place where he had all his inventions and stuff and the laboratories. And what he did was he hired other scientists and put them on projects, and he managed these projects. They did the inventions, and then he took all the credit.
Well, even the
Yeah.
even the light bulb existed. He just made the filament or either he or somebody he was employing made the
Right.
filament slightly more durable, and he got all the credit for it.
The theory for the light bulb existed, but they weren't practical because it would just burn out in a couple of minutes. And
Yeah,
he
they used
yeah.
like carbon filament, like basically burned string, this tiny little thing previously, and then they
Mhm.
put metal in there. That's basically all it was. It
Yeah,
wasn't
he
like
went
the
through-
invention or anything. Yeah,
him and his team went through like 1,000 different materials until they found the one that worked.
yeah.
And then but he bankrolled it all and everything. So, you know what I mean? It wasn't like he just sat there doing nothing, but
Yeah.
he didn't like slave away in the lab and find the material. One of his people did, and then he took the credit.
This scene
I
where
used to
he's
work for
making
a
out with
company
her
like that.
while like
So this-
flinging his like wedding ring around.
Yeah. This is Fallon. This
Yeah.
isn't Alfred.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's
we'll
because
look like
Alfred
Fallon or
doesn't
Freddy.
really. Yeah, Alfred doesn't really like her or love her, but he loves his wife, and then vice
Mhm.
versa.
Right.
It gets confusing if you're not paying attention, folks.
It really
And then,
does.
and then she likes both of them, or at least she did. So I don't know. Just tells me that.
I mean, I'm not sure if Scarlett Johansson's character ever actually knew that there were two of them. I don't
No.
know if he let her in on that.
She
no,
just
I
says
don't
this
think
is
she
private
did.
weird
But
things.
what
I
what
don't
I'm,
think so.
But she liked Hugh Jackman's character as well.
Oh
to
yeah,
start
yeah.
with. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then she felt betrayed by him because he was like, "Why don't you go, get in with this other guy?" And I don't think he thought she was going to seduce him. She was going to work for him. But
Yeah.
it kind of, he's the guy that they tell you not to worry about.
Yep. They tell you not to worry about him.
But
this
he's
is
got a
crazy.
twin brother, so you
It's like-
should.
Yes.
This is funny. Tesla comes out with his cat. It's like, that's my cat. It's like, we're gonna see if it'll work with the cat.
Which is kind of an interesting twist on what we saw with historically in our own world with Edison and the elephant. I think the elephant's name was like Topsy or whatever. It's like, we're just going to throw an animal in here and see what happens. Trust me, it'll work. Edison's route.
Edison's
Was
like, we're gonna zap this. See how powerful my direct
exactly.
current is.
Yeah, it's powerful but safe. Cooked elephant.
Yummy.
But
I wonder if they ate that elephant.
They're eating the elephants. They're eating the. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Eating the dogs, eating the cats. So here's the problem with direct current is it loses amperage as it travels significantly faster and degrades more than alternating current. So when you first came out with electrical generators, they had a DC system. You had to have so many of them at intervals, whereas one AC generator can power stuff for miles. Without having to have another generator. So eventually DC was never going to be better than AC. It's just Edison had such a big company, had a lot of inventions and clout and everything. And he didn't want, because it was business basically, because he wanted to sell more of his generators and stuff.
I don't know if I want to say click off of the stream and go watch this because we don't want to spoil it for you, because obviously we want you here. Dang, is this movie like better the first like
it is.
It's so hard to say. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
If you don't mind being spoiled on a movie, stay. If you don't mind being spoiled on a movie, mute and stay on the live stream. But mute us.
Yes. And I will say, even knowing the ending of this movie, like I said at the beginning, it doesn't make the second watch worse. If anything, it does technically make it better, I think I would say.
The first watch is brutal.
The first watch, yeah. Oh yeah, he comes outside. It's like, hey, look at the hats and the cats.
Cat in the hat.
So they were. It's not really explicitly said, but we're given the impression that Tesla was trying to transport something. So it wasn't like he was not trying to duplicate like we see here, because he was trying to create the new version of the transported man, literally moving a person from one place to another. But in doing that, he's accidentally created doubles at a certain calculatable distance away.
Yeah. He basically made a copy machine.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it makes an exact copy. It's like a kind of like a transporter, sort of.
No.
And no, Tesla is actually played by David Bowie. Hugh Jackman is playing one of the main magicians. Him and Christian Bale, they're rival magicians.
Yeah, his
so
wife's not
he
doing
tells
too
his
good.
daughter he's going to take her to the zoo.
Losing it.
But then he has Fallon do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Fallon is his twin. I'm sorry, what were you saying, Jacob?
So yeah, his wife is starting to lose it here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she knows if he's a twin or not.
I think what's happening to her is one day he's really kind and the next day he's not. So she feels like she's being gaslit by him, and it's driving her
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, even if she does know and she's part of the original plan, by this point, it would be exhausting. She would be for her to just be, I'm done with this. Let's just like live a life. Makes perfect sense.
I
But
think if
also,
she
I do
knew
think that
that,
I also
she
see
would
the
have
other
acted
side.
different.
Well, yes,
Well,
but I mean,
there's also the assistant, and there's also the magic that she's competing with. So, I mean, she probably feels like she's playing a third wheel to the other two things he's got going on.
Right.
see, and this is one of the things that I think is great about this movie because it's not made clear if she does know or if she doesn't, because sometimes she calls him Alfred, sometimes she calls him Freddy. So is that because she knows who she's actually talking to, or that is that just a her pet name for him or whatever? I mean, I like the fact that it's left open enough that it's unclear. It makes the whole kind of, as we said from the start, the illusion of this movie work better. Oh, that's a good hat. I want that hat. I'd wear that hat.
Yeah, me too. I'd wear that too.
I mean, I do
Actually,
like bowlers a little bit more than that,
the
but
bowler,
I'd still wear it. Yeah.
the bowler back in the Old West was actually the most popular hat to wear, more than
Yes,
the
it wasn't.
Stetson.
It wasn't the cowboy hat as we know it today.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what you actually call that one because it's not rounded like a bowler, but
No,
it's
I'm
pretty
not sure
close.
what you
It's
call that.
definitely not a top hat either. It's look, let's be honest, it's probably what's just called a hat.
Probably. So Tesla's, gone. He's left because the
Yep.
Edison men burned his place down. But he left one thing for Danton.
I don't think that
I
happened
can't
in real
remember his
life.
other name.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That kind of thing looks like something out of Harry Potter, that box, doesn't it?
Right.
That thing that you go into and come out in Diagon Alley or whatever.
I don't know what Harry Potter
Yes.
is.
What it reminded
Actually
me of.
is a box that he would transport that the Tesla coil in.
Oh,
Okay.
really? Okay.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
Harry Potter either.
I've seen some. I know a little bit.
Love me, Mando.
I
Love
haven't
me.
either, Squeaker.
Mando, don't love her on stream. This is a family-friendly show. You say that to Mando, she's got like a wand in the background. I've seen it.
I've made a
That
wand.
doesn't
I've
work
done
against
Harry
me. I
Potter
have a
things.
helmet.
I've just not seen
My
the movie.
helmet is immune to wands.
Jacob's helmet is similar to what is it?
Magneto.
Juggernaut.
Magneto's.
Oh,
And
Juggernaut
Magneto.
and Magneto, yeah.
Yeah, I just put this helmet on one day and I can't take it off now.
Yeah,
It's stuck.
You really shouldn't. It's safer with it on. The
Yeah.
Tesla's like, I'm out, but you have things. Oh, and yes, absolutely the lighting in this, like in general, just like the cinematography overall in this is fantastic. And this kind of goes to what Creative Blue Collar was saying earlier, that Nolan tries to do so many things practical, and that makes every scene feel like someplace you could actually be standing in.
Yeah.
Because it usually is.
And for some reason, Christopher Nolan likes to put Christian Bale in prison. He's been in prison in 3 of his movies.
Yeah. At least he didn't have to fast in this one.
Yeah.
But you also get that with the coloring too, because he's in the prison. It's like dark green. He comes out to talk to this guy, and it's like his like hopeful moment. So it's much warmer in tone.
Yeah. It's like, here's all my tricks. So, yeah, so this is interesting because this is Fallon. She's having an argument with, and then Christopher comes up dressed up like the other dude, and the little girl
Yeah.
knows. Oh, hey, Dad.
I mean, even if she doesn't know, she can sense that like caring nature.
Yeah,
And that's such a cruel thing to do too to a kid.
yeah. But the
All
wife
all for
too.
the
I mean,
act.
you don't trust your
Yeah.
wife enough to tell her.
Yeah.
She's like, make it make sense.
Why are you like two different people? Ah.
Because you're two different people.
Yeah, this was.
Oh, this part. Oh, I'm gonna cry again. I was not ready for this. I mean, I knew she was
Oh.
sad, but
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna flip out, like chimp out and trash his place. But
See, that's where I thought it was going too. I thought she was gonna like
yeah.
wreck it because she was tired of the whole magic thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like,
When I saw this scene, I was like, look at the plates and bowls and how nice everything is, and
yeah,
the bar and the seats and everything. Everything sucks now.
Right.
it does.
Yeah.
You got the
Paper plate or
Yeah,
plastic plates
exactly.
now.
It just doesn't have any style.
nice little touch with the card on the bottom.
Yeah.
I love those tiny little cards. I want a set like that.
I have some somewhere,
All right, making a note.
or I used to. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
the
let's
time,
go back.
the passage of time in this movie is not very clear, which plays into Christopher Nolan's, trope of messing with time. But obviously, these two have fallen out of favor with each other because
Yeah.
he went off to go find out what Tesla had, and then just like showed up, be like, "Hey, I have a new trick."
Yeah. This guy has also been in Star Trek.
Oh, and same
Played
for
some
one of the other
aliens.
guys I was looking at like earlier too.
I love this part. It's like he disappears and he's like, but where's the and he says behind him, the prestige? And he's like, yeah, wait, how did you he's like, that's something very rare to see real magic.
Well, surprise.
And two, I like what he says here. You need to give it where people have a what is it? What does he say? He says something like people need to have that question, did he just do that? Or you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Mhm.
I forget what he said. But yeah,
I
there's
mean,
that
that's
aspect to a
that's
trick too.
there's that. That's one of the best things about a good magic trick is it possible? Maybe I could logic it out and figure out how they did it, but also I kind of just want to enjoy the fact that they
Well,
did it.
that's part of the fun is to try to figure out how they
Yeah.
did it. Yeah. But where it's so fantastical, you're like, I just don't know how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a show on TV, it might have been in the late 90s, early 2000s, where they would do a trick and then they'd show you how they did it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the magician showing you
Yeah.
wore a mask.
Right. Yeah, because the other people will be like, you're giving away all our secrets. Yeah, we're like a
Right.
Chinese looking New Year's mask or something.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I remember that show.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a channel that I've watched on YouTube for a long time called Scam School. I don't think
Yep.
they've rebranded, But yeah,
uh-huh.
the guy there, he's out of Austin, and he does show you little things here and there. And it's not that he's trying to spoil things. It's like, this is fun. Like he like it's not only fun for you as the person who's doing the trick, but it's fun for the people that's watching. Plus, you can also maybe potentially get a free beer out of it because it's scamming people. But
Yeah.
it's he's not really sly about that. It's like, yeah, it's just having fun with things. And even knowing how some of this stuff is done doesn't detract from how good it is in my eyes, because it actually, the best tricks require so much skill and confidence, especially getting on a stage in front of so many people, and these days in front of people and the internet, and say, this is what I'm doing. I'm lying to you. You know I'm lying to you, but I'm going to do it anyway, and you're going to have fun. That is badass.
See, I know how this trick works, and I know how this trick ends, and I don't like this trick anymore. I hate this trick.
Oh no, yeah, this is
You're
definitely
not
brutal.
supposed to drown.
Once you know.
I cried for like a solid hour after the end of this movie.
And I don't know if he ever truly knows if he is waking up as the man in the box or the man on the stage after this. So he has to go into it accepting the fact every single time that he might wake up as the man in the box.
So here's the thing. When he goes into the machine, the person going in the machine is going to die. It's the copy that comes out. But how close is the copy? So do they even, you know what I mean? Like, they have all the memories, so he knows that that's what's going on. Otherwise, it wouldn't keep happening.
Not to get back into the
think it's
Star
an
Trek
exact
thing, but that
copy.
that goes back to the idea of transporters. Do they transport you or just copy you?
Right. But
Right.
in Star Trek, that copy is, there isn't an original standing on the platform when the other one shows up. Right. This
Yeah.
one, you have if he didn't have a trap door that dropped into a water tank to kill it, there would be two of them. And if two went in, there would be four, and so on and so on.
And that brings up the question, if the timing is off at all, do you wake up in a different position looking at yourself knowing that he's about to fall into a tank and die?
I don't know. But all I'm saying is the commitment that it takes to basically kill yourself every time you
Yeah.
do the trick.
Just to be the best magician.
Right.
This is all a grudge match. That's all he's doing. It's a grudge match right now.
So
Right.
when Christian Bale's character finally figures out what's going on, that's the big thing, is
Mhm.
what did each of them sacrifice? And it'd be argued that maybe it is Hugh Jackman's character. And you see it at the end. Because
Mhm.
why he keeps all these tanks with him in it, I don't know, but he does.
Mhm.
So, and it was 100 shows. So there's supposedly 100 of them somewhere. I mean, I don't think he got to that number, but the plan was to do 100 shows. I would have had it set up to where it just went into like some incinerator right away.
Right.
Well, they were all in that little catacomb thing where he stored the
Right.
equipment.
Yeah.
Like there was
Mhm.
rows of
I mean,
And
rows
Yeah,
of
there would have had to been 100 boxes of 100 fish tanks.
his workers, also his workers backstage are all blind.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess it could be argued, I suppose, that there's some sort of psychological thing of like, he wants to hang on to the lives that he has gotten rid of, that he could have had, that he's sacrificed for his craft. And that may be why he's still hanging on to all these tanks with his past selves in them.
Well,
Plus, I mean, let's be honest, it would be really difficult to explain to the local populace why there were like 100 of you burning in a pile out back.
Yeah, right.
Well, he can
Yeah,
also
and-
have such an ego that he can't think to
I mean,
do that to himself.
you just
I mean,
you have like a industrial furnace or something. You know what I mean? There's a lot of ways.
Well,
you
and here's my thought though. With this, him specifically choosing the water tank, I think is a callback to his first wife.
Right, exactly.
Ooh,
Yes.
Yeah.
So he experiences her drowning every time he goes in there.
Yes. I
it's
think it's a
just-
way for him to punish himself.
Right.
Yeah, because remember at the start of the movie, he
Yeah.
was trying to drown himself in
I
the
got
sink.
that part. I just didn't get the
Okay.
keeping it.
No.
Where you're
No,
making like
yeah.
decayed human soup in those. You know?
No.
Well, I
y'all-
think
y'all are
it's
both-
it's
y'all are
for
both
him
right.
to visualize like her death over and over again, but I think it's him basically saying it should have been me, and he gets to see that, or gets to see that.
Right,
Oh,
and
wait,
I had
right.
completely forgotten what you said, Squeak, about him trying to like drown himself in the sink earlier. So, yeah, but between you two, yeah, that makes total sense. I hadn't thought that far into it.
The only other
Beard
reason he
said we
might
made
keep
sense,
all
Mando.
those. The only reason he might keep all those is that some kind of weird backhanded way to exonerate the other guy later, if they ever get discovered, because it'd be obvious that you'd be like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" But it'd
Maybe,
be
but
after
I
he
mean,
was already
having like
dead.
at the very least, like having a dozen of your bodies in there, that's kind of hard to like say he killed me because there's a dozen of you there.
Right, exactly.
I think that what we see at the end here, where it's discovered what's happening, wasn't planned. It was just the outcome that they made the best of. That makes sense. Which it ultimately ends up backfiring because he went through all this, died every night on stage, and never realized that there was a second person that he was, competing against.
Exactly, right. And it turns out that the way that they did the trick was by having a body double.
Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't anything
Which is
really
what he
magic
tried
about
and
it.
then failed at too.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he winds
The
up
thing
with
that
the
I'm
greater
wondering-
achievement, most definitely, with the science thing. But I just don't understand why Tesla would just part with this for money and be like, whatever, dude. There ain't no way. He would have,
Well, no,
if you look at Tesla's history, he would have totally took this and did something with it.
Hold on.
He needed
Tesla's
the money.
history also was being like run over by Edison and the government, and all his stuff stolen and bullied while he was actually doing things. So
Right.
I think he
And
would
he
have
was-
he did this so
he
it wouldn't
needed
fall
money,
into
too.
his competitors' hands.
yeah.
Yeah. Think what the government would do with something like this. Make an army of perfect fighters.
Oh darn, the government able to like perfectly duplicate food and money and things. Oh, that would be terrible.
Perfectly
Could you
duplicate.
imagine if I had one of
perfectly-
these?
Oh, my
Oh, yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
don't,
imagine if you could
don't.
duplicate gold. Just get a gold bar and duplicate it over and over again.
I just see like iRobot, a bunch of squeakas. One of us.
Yeah, I don't
but
know
could
if
you
it,
draw a picture really fast with both hands?
I don't know if it would be squeakas that were duplicated. It might be top
Oh,
loaders.
Yeah.
I mean, well, who doesn't need a new washing machine, right?
I mean, this is kind of nice at the end where he like realizes what's happening and despite their rivalry, he tries to break open the tank to save him.
Did we see the right? So he sees him in there drowning, and this is what he's going to get popped by the cops for. Is
Right.
this? Although, how do you explain him trying to axe it open? But
Yeah.
this is legitimately his body. So when the guy comes to identify it, Michael Caine is like, "Yep, that's him."
So yeah, the mysterious rich person has bought all of the equipment that what's his name was using,
Mm-hmm.
including the transporting man machine. And Michael Caine wants it because he wants to destroy it. Because I think he doesn't know everything, but he knows this was something not right, not natural.
Right.
I get that feeling too. Yeah.
And he's like, well, when we're, transporting the equipment, you can maybe just show up and bump into him. So that's what he does. Yeah, this part too. Ooh.
This is the point you realize that the man behind the bars is actually the father of this girl.
Yeah.
Because the way he speaks, otherwise, it's just like, ugh. But this is also, there's no good guy in this movie except for Michael Caine.
Yeah, Michael Caine's the only decent
Because
guy.
he shows up and basically says, F you, I'm adopting your girl. I've taken everything from you. You're going to die. So he's not the good guy. Neither of them are the good guy.
The kid is the good guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Certainly the most innocent among anybody here.
And
The
some people
black
might,
cat is the good guy.
some people might have problems with like, how can he be Lord Stanton or whatever his name is if he's just running around looking like he normally does? But you got to remember, back then there was no, I don't think there was like picture ID. There might have been for some things, but like if you were wanted by the cops or something. But in general, people didn't have pictures of you all over the place, so you could just say you were somebody, and if you show up in town with a lot of money, they'll believe you.
Even then, he's already had a body double, so he could just throw it out. I was a body double for this guy for a little while and just go and live his life.
I think when you have that much money, nobody asks questions too much.
Yeah.
So, and
he's like,
that could also be the secret to his wealth, is that he just duplicated money with the machine.
Oh.
I mean, he's rich and famous for doing his shows and stuff, but he has massive wealth, and it could have been just he turned some of his stuff into gold, duplicated the gold a bunch, and then turned that into cash.
And here I thought it was just that ascot. I mean, look at that thing.
Yep.
I'd wear one, but you can't see it beneath the beard, so.
Hey, men back then wore beards, so you could wear it underneath.
No, I mean,
Are you checking out the size of his ascot?
Oh, of course. That's a great ascot.
Yeah.
Have you seen Hugh Jackman's ascot?
Wow. Top of the line. Top notch.
Mando is melting down right now.
I'm trying to be good.
Yeah, so the sequel to this is the little girl grown up, and she's a better magician than anybody.
And she doesn't cheat.
Don't give anybody even a glimmer of trying to make a sequel to this movie, because this movie is perfect as it is, or at least as close as perfect a movie can get.
It's like, you're still alive. Yeah, he's like, there's an innocent man in prison about to die.
I'm Michael Caine. How dare you?
I'm Michael Caine.
You're alive.
Don't make me pull out the tangerine.
The tangerine.
I guess this again goes back to what I was saying. It's like there's no good guy here except for Cutter, Michael Caine's character.
Yeah.
Because he was in it just for the entertainment. The other guys were in it to be better than the other one. Yeah, and just because one guy won doesn't mean he's the good guy.
Yeah, this is
this revelation. If you've never seen it before, when this hits, even if you kind of like suspected it earlier, seeing the scenes play back. I think it actually would have been better if I have one major critique that Fallon was would have been holding the ball in his left hand, and we would have seen something different about his two gloved fingers that had been cut off. I think that might have been the only other thing in that little bit of that exchange right there that I think could have been better.
I like this too. He's like, comes out and he's like, "Are you watching closely?"
Yeah,
Mhm.
this guy, this is the guy he changes. He took his chain off his foot and put on. So this guy's all like really super wary of him. Like he's just gonna disappear all of a sudden.
Yeah. One thing they got wrong here, the noose part. They hang the knot to like the left of your head.
This is
You yank
also
it
the noose on this thing is like a
sideways.
leather covered thing.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
or maybe it's like it's a chain under there covered by leather.
No, it's a
Not really
chain
sure.
up at the top, but then it's like rope wrapped in leather,
Okay.
Mm.
or maybe even a braided leather.
Hmm.
But that knot is put to the side of your head because it snaps your neck.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, that's
If
true.
if
They're
your
not
neck
going for
if your
strangler.
head goes straight down, it won't. You'll just choke.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that's if so they got to drop, right? You
The
have to
more you
measure their
know.
Right.
you got to get their weight
And
and
a
how tall they
counterweight.
are, and then you have to measure the rope distance and make sure that the height is correct.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah.
And
science
a
of hanging.
counterweight too.
Right. Yep.
Yes. Such a fun topic.
Oh, yeah. I'm just thinking of what was it, the Ballad of Buster Scruggs? First time.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yes, because if you
Yeah.
just hang for asphyxiation, it is possible to live through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the
And
Red
you
Dead.
get the joy of getting
a lot
hanged
of this
again.
is a lot of this is actually kind of alludes back to what we saw at the beginning with he's being tied down and can't escape, and he was the one who tied up the other guy's wife to where she couldn't escape. And you get a lot of the similar camera angles where they're strapping his legs and his arms and putting the noose around his neck and everything like that. It's very similar to what we saw earlier. Except he's not going to get lifted up. He's going to get dropped.
Yeah, so the other dude shows up and shoots him. Hey.
Look, even if you've just seen parts, I recommend it. Go check it out. Yeah. Surprise, mother. Can't say it. This is Jacob's channel.
It's just like reveals everything here. Yep, we were doubles. It was a body double the whole time.
And that's such an Occam's razor thing. The simplest solution usually is what you go with. Because you can come up with
Yep.
something really elaborate that is a solution, but almost nobody will do that. They'll go with the simpler solution. So, of course,
Mhm.
he's had a double the entire time, ever since he's known him.
I'm glad it doesn't show that because that would really make me wince.
Yes, it is nutty in a good way. It's like I said earlier, even knowing the ending of this movie, the second watch is probably, I don't know if it's better than the first watch. It's at least equal to the first watch. And going back and watching it multiple times, this is one of the few movies that I've done a review on where I have seen it multiple times, and I still love this movie.
Yep.
I don't know if I could make it through a second watch. I'd try. I'd try just to catch some of the stuff, but oof, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, especially knowing the end, if that hits hard, it's going to hit hard the entire time you're watching.
Yeah, this part where it actually shows the whole scene is like
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
But he knows there can't be two of them, so
It's like, whoa. Why not though? That's what I was like. It's like, you have a twin. Now
Well, see,
you can do the double trick without making copies of yourself and killing yourself. But it was a
true, but he's-
trap, though. It was a
he's got to be
trap
the best.
to set up Alfred. You know,
Well, and also this is the first time he does, or I assume the first time that at least we see that he actually experiences that. And this may be the only time where he goes through the process and offs the double instead of sacrificing himself and letting the double live, as we see in the trick.
yeah,
Like he panics. Like he knew that there were going to be two of him, but he takes that guy out, the copy, the double. But moving forward, just to be the best, he lets himself drown every single night.
Yep,
yeah, and
absolutely.
this
That's
is
the.
good too because. Oh, go ahead, Shieldwall.
I was just saying that they're sitting here trying to one up each other about, how much I'm dedicated to the art and to the craft, to the point where, but he doesn't realize this yet that he's drowning himself every night and making a copy.
Yeah,
He's just talking about, yeah, it's me and my brother and this, and he's like, wait, what?
Like I was
Yeah,
basically
because-
like offing myself every single
And
night
the
to do what
realization
you
that
do.
it was a body double. The old dude
because
was
I
right.
did all this for
because
nothing.
Yeah.
Freddy doesn't know that how much like the upper hand he has right now, whereas because he's just sacrificing his brother. And that sounds like a weird thing to say. I'm just sacrificing my brother. But Robert, Hugh Jackman's character, has been sacrificing himself every single performance.
Yeah,
Again, neither of them are heroes in this. They're both obsessed maniacs, willing to go far beyond what they should, just to perfect and be the best at their craft.
just to one up the other.
Yeah, and in one way or the other, both of them are smashing a bird in a cage just so they can be better.
And then we get the second realization that he's like, what? He's drowning himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then
All the hats.
nobody picked up those hats.
Oh, that.
I'm surprised I didn't catch on fire.
And that's
Oh,
it. And
man.
it just stops right there.
Okay, I'll be done crying here in a minute again.
Okay. So yeah. Good movie. Good movie.
Very good movie.
That is good. I mean,
Uh,
I know you
Shieldwall,
don't
would-
you don't normally
you-
do like newer movies like this, but when I saw it on the list, I'm like, yes, finally, not only one that I know but I love.
Yeah, wanted to get Blue Collar on here. Hadn't had
Hmm.
him on yet, so I asked him to pick a movie. So we decided on that one.
Oh, that was his pick. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, his
Yeah.
pick was a Nolan pick, but I did a Nolan movie last week, and that's the one he picked.
Oh, okay.
But then
okay,
we decided on this one. So that was a good one. I try to kind of even it out. I'll try to do a newer movie and then some older movies, just to kind of balance it out a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good.
Well, I appreciate you letting me pop on and
Yeah, definitely.
talk about the movie. It was really awesome, even though I cried a lot. I probably screamed a few times. I mean, it was an intense movie. It was really great.
Just a little bit.
I
So I wanted
probably.
to ask-
I don't know. Ask Beard. I probably did squeak a few times. I don't know. I was too busy watching the movie.
Hey
Yes,
there,
I wanted
Salmon
to ask
Outdoors.
Shieldwall this.
What's up?
Uh, I've done this before. I'll watch a movie on somebody else's show, and after the show, I have a different opinion about it. Do you have any different opinions about this movie after the?
Oh, you mean going in one way and then after talking about it and whatever?
Yeah,
Yeah, that happens to me all the time, especially when Matt's on the stream, like goes deep into it and like this is what's really happening and
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I see it a little. The story's a little more complex than I thought it was, but I still don't like the duplicating machine that Tesla made. I I was really invested in the story up until that got revealed, and then I was like, eh. I was hoping to be a little different than that. Because I mean, I was hoping it was some kind of mechanical machine or some way they came up with it, but
yeah.
the twists at the end were good. That he was a twin the whole time, but I just didn't like the teleporting machine was a little too sci-fi for me. Other than that, it's a good movie. But it's not. I think for me it's still not a great movie. Uh,
I mean, yeah, you have to buy into that in order to really enjoy the movie as a whole, because it is
right.
a cornerstone of the story. And I get why you might not.
I can see why people like the movie. I can see why it did well at the box office. It was a $40
Yeah.
million budget, made like
See,
109 million. So they made some money on it.
Me personally, I might like it more because I saw there were two magic movies that year. There was this and The Illusionist. And this is far better than The Illusionist, but I saw that one first. And then I saw this one, so it kind of wowed me more, kind of like what I might have expected from the first movie. So that might kind of color what I was expecting or how I enjoyed this movie. But no, I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just I don't know, but everybody has movies they like. Like Roman doesn't like The Fifth Element, and we can't understand why.
Roman is wrong.
So yeah, but
Roman is old man yells at cloud. I keep telling y'all.
there's a few movies out there that are like that people like,
I
and
think
I'm
Harry
just like,
Potter is annoying.
Yeah, I don't. There's certain movies out there that people really like that I don't like. Like
Sorry, Mando. It's just how I feel.
The Batman movie with Heath Ledger in it. A lot of people are like, it's the best Batman movie ever. I was like, eh. The Joker,
don't like it.
Just too much random stuff was happening. There's no way his plans would ever come to fruition. Like you had to perfectly drive that semi truck through that tunnel and then shoot that RPG at the exact moment for the whole plan to work. And if anything went wrong, it's totally screwed. I don't like just. I get it's a comic book movie.
The
yada
only
yada whatever.
way.
But
I'll throw this out there real quick because we don't need to go down that road because I could talk about it for a while. The only way that movie works is if you recognize that the Joker is the hero and Batman is the villain, and I refuse to accept that, so I don't like the movie.
Right,
Adam West is the only Batman. Just gonna throw that down.
Yes,
that's an example of movies that people like that I really don't care for.
Yeah.
But everybody has those types of movies. So
don't make me go on a rant about Batman, okay? Adam West, Batman? No.
What?
I'm never going to be allowed on Jacob's stream again.
He's not the original Batman. The original Batman was closer to the newer stuff.
Well, yes,
back in the 40s.
But okay,
but all the mods came in and messed it up.
I can't go down this road right now. We'll be here for another hour.
Yeah.
So Prestige is a great movie, but sad-ish.
I'll control myself.
Is there any movie that
another
is
time
sad for you, Squeaka?
I represent that remark. I'm sorry.
I'm just asking.
It just depends. I also cry happy tears and I cry angry tears. There's been movies that I've cried at because I'm really freaking angry at what's going on, and I will yell at the screen or I'll get upset, angry. But it's kind of squeaky. It's kind of funny, but at the same time, it just depends. I don't know why I'm so squishy, but usually, yeah, if something happens or something dies or
Well, it's okay. It was just a question. I
It's
wasn't
not a
like
bad thing to be
trying to
squishy.
excoriate you or anything. I was just asking if there were movies that, and also Nick
I
Hardy's
didn't cry
direct.
during Bloodsport. Does that count?
Okay, there you go.
Okay,
Yeah,
there you go.
I mean,
Bloodsport's not really a correct. Well, that's not true.
Well-
When the big guy dies,
I did get
yeah.
almost a little teary. Like I was a little like kind of about to start crying, but then they zipped to the part where he was in the hospital, and
Well,
I realized he
and
didn't
also
die.
Jean-Claude Van Damme's buns. I mean, who doesn't cry at those?
Had me some bones, hon. But yeah, so I almost cried there, but then, like I said, he was in the hospital. He didn't die. I was okay with it.
Yeah, there are a lot of good movies out there.
I don't cry during. I do cry during Kung Fu Hustle. Never mind. I take that back.
Oh, that's another great movie. I laughed so much the first time I saw that movie. That was a fun movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great movie. So yeah, that was it. I can recommend for people to watch this movie. I'm not saying don't watch it. It's just for me personally, that part of it I just didn't care for. But other than that, it was a well-made movie, well acted, all that kind of stuff.
Cool. So, I kind of knew this would go over this movie because is a complicated one, but yeah, we did pretty good.
Well, yeah, it's not really complicated, but it's a long movie. It's like 2 hours and something.
Yeah, I mean, even that aside, there's just so much to talk about in this movie. It was going to be a long show, regardless.
Right.
Yeah. So let's go around the horn. Give a rating for this movie if you want to, and tell us what you got coming up. Shieldwall, what do you got, man?
I think this movie it's a solid 7. I had some problems with the plot devices, but other than that, it's a good movie. What do I got coming up on Thursday? I will be on Roman of the Empire's channel, and we will be having a kind of like belated Vets Day kind of thing. We'll be talking about our favorite war movies. These are American war movies, not Starship Troopers, not Star Trek, not Star Wars, that go
Even
back.
though we really want to.
Exactly. We'll find a way to slip those in there. He just doesn't know yet.
Somewhere.
But and then next week on this show we'll be doing Paths of Glory, 1957 World War I movie. And then I gotta talk about the week after. I'm super excited for that. Is Fort Apache, 1948.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a great movie. That's going to be a good time. So, at least for me anyway. I really like that movie and part of that trilogy of the cavalry movies from the 40s with John Wayne. But other than that, that's what I got.
We'll be doing the other two at some point.
Awesome. Yeah, those are really good. So anyway, thanks for having me on. It's a lot of fun. It's fun being on here with Squeaka. So always.
Oh, thanks, Sir Shieldwall.
I see you've updated your avatar.
I try to change it depending on what I'm doing. I try to make it fit.
Yeah, okay. I'm not.
Well, this was the most kind of like corsetti, saloony kind. I was trying to look at Scarlett Johansson's mouth.
Oh
like,
yeah, got it. It's magic assistant.
Yeah, see.
Scarlett.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mando.
I definitely give this 8.5, 9 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. Probably gonna watch it again. Also Hugh Jackman.
Huge jacked man.
Huge jacked man. And Christian Bale. Both very lovely human male specimens. And of course Scarlett Johansson. I really enjoyed it. I liked how it doesn't spoon feed you all of the information. You have to actually be paying attention and use your brain. And it also it's good at making it a mystery and giving you just little hints here and there. I really What's that face for? What did I say?
No,
Ah!
it's
Anyway.
not you. It's not you.
Okay. But yeah, it's one of those movies that actually makes you makes you wonder, like, until the very end. You're like, is it possible that they're actually like they have magic? Is that a thing? Could it be? So I like that it actually makes you like kind of have a little bit of doubt. Some like it's not a lot of doubt, but there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who's to say it's not from some Tibetan monk, that they found?
Exactly.
Who knows?
You go to the
I
Far
say it's from a
East and learn
Tibetan.
some things.
It's Tibetan monks. Blame the monks. Always blame the monks.
Probably a
the monks
Tibetan
are the
mouse.
worst.
Well, back
Squeaka,
then the world
do
wasn't
you have any?
so like connected as it is
Mhm.
now. So everything was way more mystical if it came from the East than it is
Mhm.
now. So it was popular for that kind of motif to be put on everything.
Mhm.
Hey, I'll give you mystical, and that comes from the
I'll give
South.
you
So
I'll give you moustical. Does that count?
Absolutely.
Squeaka, what do you have?
Yes.
Do you have anything?
I have puns. That's what I
Yes. Puns are the
um,
best.
I have. Thursday. Thursday. Guess what? Beard and I are going to play 7 Days to Die after Roman
Ooh.
stream.
Exciting.
Tune in because it's a zombie game, and I'm not a horror person, so it's going to be a wild ride. And Beard's going to have to do all the things while I sit here and be afraid of zombies. So
you didn't tell me that. Okay.
I told you I was afraid of zombies, but it's gonna be fun. It's one of the few like horror games I actually do kind of like, so that'll be exciting. We're gonna do that Thursday. I don't know what time, Beard. What time?
It'll
What time?
be after Roman stream. That usually ends around 9:30 ish. So there might be a little bit of leeway that we have to kind of adapt to there.
Okay,
9:30
so
ish
no
Central
bedtime for
Time.
me on
So
Thursdays is what he's saying.
yeah.
10ish maybe. And then Jana and I are doing a thing on her channel. It's gonna be once a month. It's called Wonderland. And our first guest is going to be Plot Strikes Back. If you haven't subbed to him, go sub to him. He's pretty awesome. Where we take a topic given to us by the guest and we do a deep dive into whatever, anything that has to do with this topic. Strange stories, facts, weird stuff. It doesn't matter. We'll find something crazy. Cosplay, who knows? So on the 9th of December is our first one. And I don't remember the time. I think it's 9 Eastern. It might be 9 Eastern on Monday. But we're going to do tiramisu. So that's going to be exciting. And then
Find something crazy.
find something crazy. And then I'm on Pops' channel on Tuesdays, of course, at 4:30. Our next one is going to be Journey to the West. So that I'm looking forward to that because it's got the same person that was in Kung Fu Hustle, I think they said. I don't remember.
Stephen Chow?
Maybe.
Yeah, he's the one that did that. He did that in Kung
Oh,
Fu
okay.
Soccer, and another one with
Yeah,
like some
Shaolin
little
Soccer was the other one.
Shaolin Soccer, and then there's another one that
Yeah.
had like a little alien thing that kind of poops out donuts or something.
Oh,
Yeah, so yeah, I have a list now. It's kind of
and that poops out
freaking me
donuts.
out that I actually have a list of things I'm doing. But so yeah, that's it. Sometimes I go hang out on Loki's channel on Fridays, hang out with some puppets on Saturdays, but that's hit or miss depending on if I'm in town. And that's it. Mostly just Tuesdays and Thursdays for the legit real part now. And then wherever people let me on, like I appreciate y'all letting me on here, and sometimes Roman puts up with me. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, that was really
Cool.
long. My bad.
So I don't know what y'all were talking about, aliens pooping out donuts, but have y'all heard of the new X-Men soft serve? Have y'all heard of it?
No.
What?
That sounds like a troll.
I'm serious. No, it's not a troll. It's serious.
Where they take on
She
the form
poops
of
out
soft serve ice cream.
She poops out soft serve ice cream.
Is it like you throw it at people and it like burns them or something, or
I don't know. No, it's actually ice cream. I don't know what.
But so what's the
they
point
were
of that?
thinking. Exactly.
Is this in the same universe as Squirrel Girl and?
I feel like I'm doing the Emma
I don't
Watson,
know.
like what the WTF face, just like
exactly. That's what I had. The exact face. That right there. Yeah. So Mando, I'm sorry, not Mando. Beard. What do you got?
Oh, let's see. Monday nights and Tuesday nights, you can find me on Mondays at After the Weekend. Take a look at some old movies. On Tuesdays, here, typically much older movies. We'll be going into that. Wednesdays and Fridays, you can catch me on my channel playing some Dragon Age Origins. That's been a lot of fun. Obviously, Thursdays with Roman of the Empire for our favorite war movies. Gonna have to make up, I might bend some rules there. And then afterwards with, get my directions right, this one right over here for some 7 Days to Die. That's gonna be a lot of fun, I think.
Your partner in zombie crime.
Yeah, that's right. And Sundays I've started playing the Dishonored. That's right. The Dishonored games.
On so you, the sun on your cow, the sun on your whole family.
I was just thinking that.
So in short, if that's a lot to follow.
In short.
Linktree /Beard or Linktree Beard of Liberty. I don't know where the slash falls in there, but y'all can figure it out. And you can find me where you need to find me
in the comments.
I'll get that real quick. But
alrighty.
Yeah, that links to After the Weekend, Jacob Ironside, Roman of the Empire, and my own channel. So and my ex, so people can follow me there. I'll get real quick.
Cool. So yeah, for me, I would definitely give this a solid 8.5. And next week is Paths of Glory. Great movie. It's very thought-provoking.
Are we supposed to rank it? I forgot.
Military courtroom drama. So it's a good one. Yeah, and then I will be on Roman's show Thursday night, talking the favorite military or U.S. Army movies.
Hey, he said war movies. I'm bringing not. They might not be U.S. He said war movies. Look.
So yeah, that's great. Thanks to the panel for being on. I had a good time discussing this movie, and thanks to the chat for hanging with us. Had a few new people in there, and thanks for all the new subscribers that got me over to 400. Really appreciate it.
Congratulations,
awesome. Congratulations on that. Yep.
The subscribers are the ones that make this channel. So thank you for that. And I hope everybody has a great week, and we will see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Take care. Bye. Good night.
Later.